next generation of Detroit sports media is here. Crunch Time is back on Woodward Sports. Join Jeff Iafrate and Booner Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Taking Detroit sports coverage to the next level with massive interviews, viral moments, and the best live reactions. Get ready, Detroit. The young guns are taking over. Crunch Time on Woodward Sports.
Welcome back to Crunch Time here on Woodward Sports. It's a Friday, August 7th. Big news dropped yesterday. We finally got the extension, but more specifically, the numbers. We're going to dive into that, talk some Jahmyr Gibbs, Detroit Lions training camp. We'll get to the Detroit Tigers as well. Jeff Iafrate, Booner, KG, Caleb Zarnick. The fellas are here on a Friday, kind of cruising into the weekend. We got a packed show. I know people are tuning in. Oh, my God, Gibbs got paid. What does Jeff have to say about it? We'll talk about it. It'd be a great show.
Hey, Jeff, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Jahmyr Gibbs got a lot of freaking money, Jeff.
He's pissed off.
I hope you had a great night. I hope you had a great morning. I hope you're doing good today.
Slept well.
Because I saw a lot of comments and people going at you and saying, hey, I watched the heavyweights reaction to it, and you know what the first thing they thought of yesterday was? Instead of, Jahmyr Gibbs, great contract, you know what they thought of, Jeff Iafrate? They didn't think about the backfield. They didn't think about the offense. You know what they said? They thought of you.
Jeff.
They thought of Jeff Iafrate. Like, how does that feel that when Jahmyr Gibbs, an all-pro running back, signs his extension, they're thinking about you?
So, your boy had to get, got a haircut. I mean, it was a big day for me.
Look good if I'm getting killed.
hey, solo cam. Let me get the solo cam. Just so the people can really see. I mean, I don't think people look at that.
I'm
got
thriving.
Fresh haircut.
Oh, no, Caleb.
Fresh haircut. We're ready to go. We're fired up about it. All right, we got a lot to get to. The Jahmyr Gibbs extension was announced yesterday. We kind of knew it. We talked about it on the show. Jordan Schultz, actually, we give him all the credit because he announced it was going to be a 3-year deal. It was expected to get done yesterday, and bang, it got done. We have the contract details as well. Caleb, you could throw up the details if you have them. If not, I'll read them. There's the official details. We posted on Woodward Sports, and for those who maybe are living under a rock, Jahmyr Gibbs got that 3-year, $67.5 million deal that can be worth up to $75.75, and it includes $51.5 million guaranteed. To summarize it, I'll give you a full rundown of how these extensions went. Jahmyr Gibbs' agent, just give me a little more than Bijan.
That's it.
Across the board.
Yeah.
I mean, it's literally it's a little more. It's like $250,000 more across the board. Because it really comes down to that simple fact of I want to be the highest paid running back, so give me $250,000 more here, give me $250,000 more here, and that's essentially what happened. So now he is the highest paid running back in the NFL. It's official. It's out there. And you know what? This is a great day for the Detroit Lions fans, all the people that have been pounding the table, get this thing done. And obviously the preference was to get it done before Bijan, I understand that, and before, Jonathan Taylor, not that really he had relevance, but just the other running backs getting paid, but it gets done today. He's going to go back to practice. This whole storyline kind of gets put to bed. Now, we're going to get into later all the extensions that have been handed out on the Detroit Lions, over $1 billion in extensions, and there's some positives to that. There's some negatives to that. We'll discuss that. But I'll say this. I still feel the way I do, okay? And, I can say two things can be true. I can say, you know what, I'm happy for Jahmyr Gibbs, the human being. And I'm not saying, I'll never say the guy doesn't deserve to have the day and be excited, but I still feel the way I do. I do think this is a mistake to make your running back the highest paid. I do still feel that way. And, we're going to get into it when we talk about the other extensions being handed out. Like, the simple fact of the reality is, like, another extension handed out for Jahmyr Gibbs, and you got two more that you have to decide for the future of, Brian Branch and Sam Laporta. I think now all eyes kind of go to how does Brad Holmes navigate those other two guys that need extensions. And also, like, it really does prove the importance going forward of just nailing draft picks. That's going to be a big part of this ordeal moving forward. Nailing draft picks. Getting guys to come to this team for cheap deals that do play very, very well. We've seen that through NFL history as well. Like, when you're paying a lot of guys, you need guys that come in on cheap deals to ball out, and you need rookies to play well, or guys on rookie deals to play well. So the way the Lions are building, again, we'll get into maybe the specifics of how they can win the way they're building this team, but it comes down to you need contributions out of players that are cheap. And that comes with rookies or, the Rock Ya-Sins of the world or, whatever. It's going to be very important for those guys. So going forward, I'm very curious to see a couple different things. One, how this defense plays, because that's obviously the big storyline this year. But also, like, Jahmyr Gibbs this year as the bell cow. I'm still going to have my eyes on that, right? Like, the bell cow back. If you look at all the top paid running backs, those guys are getting a bunch of carries a year and kind of proving they can handle the workload. And I'm not saying Gibbs isn't talented, but I think for this year we can all agree that all Lions fans should have their eyes on Jahmyr Gibbs. Can he handle the workload of a bell cow? He's been sharing the backfield with David Montgomery, and there's been games where, David will play really well. A lot of the time it's Jahmyr playing really well, obviously, but those two have kind of benefited off each other. This year, it's like, okay, you got Isaiah Pacheco. You're obviously not going to give him the same amount of carries as you did David Montgomery. Maybe last year, but just throughout his time with the Lions, not as much as David. So it's up to Jahmyr. Like, how much do they use him in the pass game? How much are they handing him the football? Is this guy going to get 20, 25 touches a game? And how does his body respond to that, even though he has had less touches than a lot of these other guys who have been in the NFL? So he is more fresh. But I'm curious to see, man, like, let's see it. You're the bell cow back. You're extended. You're locked up with this team for the foreseeable future. I think till he's like 28 or whatever the age is. So I think the storyline this year for just Jahmyr specifically is the money's out of the way, but we got to see if you can handle the workload, which people should have their eyes on. He's talented, no doubt, but can you handle 25 touches a game? Stay healthy, be productive, and be consistent with this new O-line that we expect to be very good. So that's where the eyes go for Jahmyr Gibbs.
I think, too, by the way, like, spot on with all of that. The contract was always going to happen. It was never not going to happen. We kind of knew, like, the question was obviously the guaranteed money we've talked about the last few days. Jeff, I've stood up for you to the fact that it's you don't care about the price or whatever it is. It was always just the fact of paying a running back. So when the price comes out yesterday, there was really no like people were like spending them like, take this, Jeff. Like, no, like, I think we all knew that Jahmyr Gibbs was going to sign an extension. Yeah. It was going to happen. The price that came about, I always said, hey, let's look at the guaranteed money. Where does that fall into place? He ends up getting the highest paid. He's the highest paid running back in the NFL. The three things that I wrote down today for those things is, as soon as you are the highest paid at your position, it's the same thing, and it's the same accountability that I'll give to like an Ali McNeil when he signs a top 5 contract in his position. There's expectations that come with it. I've been more lenient with the lean because there's been he's injured, and it's harder to get back. So I'm like, okay, he could be a top 10 guy. Okay, we can deal with that. When you sign a deal like that, though, and you are the number one at your position, it's like Micah Parsons, the number one edge rusher. He's expected to go out there and compete for Defensive Player of the Year, if not maybe win it, right? Like, that's the expectation. When Sauce Gardner signs the highest paid by a corner, which turns out, I think, to Patrick Surtain, what do you expect to do? What did Patrick Surtain do? Defensive Player of the Year. Like, I can go down the line in every single position group, and when you sign the biggest contract at your position, you're expected now to be at that level. And yes, has he put up numbers the last 2 or 3 years? Of course. He's a 3-time Pro Bowler. But what he doesn't have yet is he has not yet to be a running back All-Pro. He has not hit an All-Pro team. He has not won an Offensive Player of the Year yet. And you kind of go through that and you go, and he also hasn't, to your point, taken the carry load yet. And he hasn't taken the kind of the load of, like, yesterday I was arguing a little bit with Spenny and those guys and Klotz, and we had the argument about Jonathan Taylor to Jahmyr. And they're like, well, look at Jonathan Taylor's touches compared to Jahmyr's. Jahmyr's had less, and he's had the yards that he had. Okay, well, let's see Jahmyr with getting 23 to 25 touches per game like Jonathan Taylor does on a daily basis, right? That's now what comes into play. So I'm glad they got a deal done, because you sit there and you go, okay, we don't have to worry about this now for the next 5 years. You have a running back locked in. But he was made the highest at his position. So now there's expectations that come with it. The guy needs to be All-Pro this year. He needs to be Offensive Player of the Year, or at least compete for it. He needs to, honestly, guys, he needs to be top 3 in voting for Offensive Player of the Year. If you are now breaking out of any of the markets, of any position, if you are breaking the market at the running back position, you should be top 3 in voting an Offensive Player of the Year every single year, like, and that contract. That's a lot of money, guys. Like, this isn't like a wide receiver getting paid 35. It's like with JSN. He's getting paid 40-something. You better be in that Offensive Player of the Year conversation every single year. And there should be no question to it. So I think that's what Jahmyr Gibbs now. There's expectation that runs with it. And if you have a year or two off where you're not there, or you do get hurt, then that goes back to Jeff's conversation of, this is why you don't pay a running back, right? So now for the next 5 years, that conversation is going to keep approaching, and it's going to keep coming up, and it's going to keep coming up. I love the fact that we have one of the best running backs in the league, but you have to go out there and prove it now. You just got, again, the highest paid running back, guys, in NFL history is Jahmyr Gibbs, and you have him on the Detroit Lions.
And I want to say this too. I'm not going to be unfair. Like injuries happen. So if he bangs up his ankle for a couple games, I'm not going to be like, ha! I told you not to. Clearly,
I think
things
it's consistency.
There's going to be, but to your point, like we have to be consistent across the board. And the thing about Jahmyr is, like, I'm not putting him. This I'll be fair. I'm not putting him in the bucket of players who you pay that haven't shown it.
Right.
Like that he's a good player. So
you know
clearly,
what he is.
Yeah, Pro Bowler every single. I get that. So he's not like in the, you're projecting him. No, he's really freaking good. He's arguably the best running back in the league. So for him moving forward, it's just about the consistency. That's where I agree with you. Like, and he would say it himself. Like if you ask Jahmyr, like, hey, bro, you got paid. You're the highest paid running back. Like that comes with expectations. He'd be like, yeah, of course.
Well, I do think too.
Like, and but to your point, like that, now it's like, hey, you're one of the highest paid running backs in the league.
Yeah.
If you look at some of those top paid running backs, like those guys are obviously the offense, and the Lions have the benefit. What's beneficial about the Lions' offense is they have other weapons that obviously contribute as well. But like Jahmyr is going to be the sole focus, the sole kind of like the cog in the engine of this offense in the run game. So
I don't even think too. I think it's like, he's been consistent. I do think though you need to see another. Like we know the talent he has. You do need to see another level of Jahmyr Gibbs. You do. If you're the highest paid, like last year, he was,
Agreed.
he was seventh in the NFL in rushing yards rushing yards total at 1,223. Kyron Williams had more than him, played the same amount of games. I'm going to skip over A-Chain had more than him, played one less game. He had 1,350. Bijan Robinson had more than him. Jonathan Taylor had more than him. Derrick Henry had more than him. And James Cook had more than him. And I get it. You can argue, hey, there's a lot of weapons on this team. Fully get that. But there's no reason you should be 400 or 500 yards behind the top guy in this league when you are the number one paid running back in the NFL. So this year is going to be a very, very big test for him because his carries are going to go up. He had 240 last year. Guess what? It should go up to 275 plus. Like you should be almost breaking that 300 carry mark. And that's what it is. And I get it. Like if they want to be able to sit there, and this is what I'm going to call a spade, guys. This is what I don't want to see. If you're paying a running back as number one running back in the NFL, I don't want to see him splitting carries and you kind of being like, let's be careful with him for the next 5 years. No. Like, if you're going to be careful with the running back, I don't want to see that. You don't pay him $22.5 million. You use him for the next 5 seasons. Like, I just don't want to see that. I'm sorry. If people are going to sit here and be like, oh, it's like D-Mont kept him healthy, it's not that anymore. Like, I'm fine with seeing Pacheco in the goal line. I don't want to see Pacheco taking carries away from Jahmyr Gibbs when he's making 22.5 freaking
here
million.
And there, fine, but like,
that carry number needs to go up. That carry number needs to be pushing 300 this year.
Yeah,
like you need to get to that 300 level.
And by the way, like who would disagree with that, right? No. Like who would disagree? You give that guy, you make him the highest paid. He's obviously incredibly talented. That dude is getting a majority of the touches.
Yeah,
from a running back perspective.
Yeah, dude, if you're making again that much money.
Yeah,
he better be getting the touches. He better have some of the most touches in the entire NFL when it comes to running backs.
Yeah, I mean, obviously expectations have, like to your guys' point, they have changed for Jahmyr Gibbs. Like now shit's gotten real. Like you're the highest paid running back in the NFL. And granted, I wanted him to be the highest paid running back in the NFL. I think he deserves it. I think he's the best running back in the entire NFL, and I think he's going to live up to every expectation that Booner mentioned. The offensive player of the year is close to the rushing leaders. I think he's going to get those 300 carries, and I think he's going to do great things with those 300 carries. So I'm happy Jahmyr Gibbs got paid, and I think he's going to live up to every penny of this contract.
Hey, it's Jay in the chat said we can say the same thing about Hutch, highest paid defensive edge, and he's got to get 17 sacks. First off, that's a fact. He's the second highest paid edge rusher in the NFL. And to be fair, like this is where I'll be consistent. He's fourth in the NFL in sacks last year. So he's close to that mark. He's second in the NFL in contract. He was fourth in the NFL in sacks. So like you could be like, oh, it's 17 sacks. He was fourth, right?
But he should be defensive player of the year contender.
Like, I'm not going to sit here and say, hey, that's the only measuring stick based off of what your contract is. But it's like with quarterbacks and stuff. Like you do value and you kind of look at Jared Goff like, hey, he's making 50-something million, right? He's top 10. He better be a top 10 quarterback. He is. Amon-Ra St. Brown, same thing. At the time he got paid, he was top 4 or top 3 paid in the NFL. Guess what he was doing? He was putting up numbers that made him a top 3 to 4 wide receiver in the NFL. Hutch right now, I think it's the second highest. I mean, let me double check that. But he's like the second highest paid edge rusher.
I think he's third right now, but he broke the market at the time.
And he was fourth in the NFL in sacks. So you know what? Like to me, and he was also an All-Pro, right? And he was top 6 or 7 in Defensive Player of the Year voting. So like, You look at that and you go, okay, he's living up to it. Does he need to take another step and get to that
Yes.
17? 100% he does. But at least last year he lived up to it. If Jahmyr Gibbs, and the difference too with the Hutch and Gibbs is the highest paid, guys. Like Hutch isn't. Micah Parsons was.
He was.
Well,
at the
Hutch
time.
broke the market.
Yeah, Hutch
He
broke
did-
the
yeah.
market.
Didn't Micah Parsons, wasn't he the ones that broke it and then Hutch went under him?
Hutch got the most guaranteed money. I think it was the case.
Yeah.
Let's double
Hutch
check
reset
that.
it first, and then Micah did. So.
But regardless, expectations apply to every player who gets paid. So
of
Hutch,
course.
defensive player of the year, future,
And-
please.
but this year he was an all-pro.
Yeah.
He had 14.5 sacks. He was fourth in the NFL in sacks. Like
Yeah.
he did it. And we're not sitting here telling Jahmyr Gibbs you need to lead the league in rushing every year. You need to lead the league in touchdowns every year, in total yards. No, but you need to be in that top 3, and you need to be an all-pro, first or second team all-pro year after year. Like that's the expectations that you just moved into, and you haven't done it yet. Can he do it because he's talented? He's the most talented back in the NFL. Yeah, dude, he could definitely do it. But you have to go out there and do it now. Like, there's no more like, hey, I'm on a rookie deal. I'm going to get there. No, you're on the biggest and the most paid running back in the NFL history. Not just this year, NFL history. So you have to go out there and you have to prove it. You really do.
And the only thing, and this is the argument that just keeps grinding my gears. It keeps frustrating me. And I saw Spenny do it yesterday. Is like, oh, Zay Flowers got this amount of money, so that means this Jahmyr has to happen. Guys, that's apples to oranges. Like, there are bad contracts everywhere. You can't just simply look at a bad contract and say, yeah, that justifies me giving the money. No. Zay Flowers was an overpay. That's a separate entity. That's a terrible contract. You can't just look around the league and be like, well, this team gave out this bad contract, so that justifies us paying Jahmyr Gibbs. Like, no, that doesn't apply. They don't even play the same position, number one. And number two, I would never pay Zay Flowers what they paid him. That's terrible. Yeah. It's a terrible contract. It's separate, completely separate. It's like looking at Brandon Ayuk when they paid him the money they paid him. It's like that's just these bad contracts are going to happen. I see like someone else in the chat. I think the heavies are like pumping out soldiers. Like Detroit Arrow, Zay Flowers got $140 million. He's not even a top 10 receiver. By the way, like that's separate comment. You're correct, but that doesn't apply
It's
to
different
the Jahmyr
positions,
Gibbs
yeah.
contract. Like that we can't be like.
I love the heavies. They use arguments wrong all the time.
That's not even in the same.
It's not the same context.
realm.
It's not the same. Yeah, it's completely different. I respect them trying to use that as an argument, but that's not
The
it.
argument. This is how, and I'll give
That's
you.
just
Listen,
making
you know
stuff
what?
up to
I'll do
try
a
and
favor
prove
to
a
the
point
people
that's
that
wrong.
if you hate my take so much, I'll give you like the secret. If you really want to like debate me and say how wrong I am, this is how you do it. When we're arguing about running backs, you're from the perspective of the people that are pro Gibbs and pro paying running backs. You give me examples of highest paid running back equaling Super Bowls. That's how you defeat that argument. Or top 2 or 3 highest paid running back equaling Super Bowls. That's as simple as that. You give me the evidence, you give me the data, and I'll listen to it. Saying like, well, Zay Flowers makes this amount of money. Can't use that. That doesn't apply.
Yeah.
You got to give me proof in an example or some sort of.
I give you a proper buzzer.
There, thanks, KG. That's how you defeat the argument. I'm giving you like it's like Thanos with the Infinity Stones. Like I'll tell you where the Infinity Stones are. You got to go get them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'll tell you where they are. Keep them away from me. All right.
Right.
I'll tell you where they are. But you can't just be like, well, this guy got this amount of money and this guy got this amount of money. It just doesn't. That's not the same argument. But
Also, too, because I think all this like. You have to kind of look into it is like with the Hutch stuff, guys. I went and looked at, by the way, just so we can correct. Micah got paid in August because I think this is a big deal, guys. I think depending on when you get paid is a big deal. Micah gets paid in August. Hutch gets paid in October. Micah broke the market. He reset the market. Hutch went under him. This is a different situation because Bijan completely broke the market, and then guess who came in over him? Jahmyr Gibbs did. So they look at Jahmyr Gibbs as that top tier, and they do with Hutch. But if they really did with Hutch, guess what Hutch would have gotten, guys? More than Micah. And he would have reset the market 3 months later when he signed. So, like, this is a thing where it's like you are looked at as the number one in your position. You're looked at, this is going to sound crazy, and tell me I'm bad with analogies, guys. All right?
We know.
I'm bad with analogies. But who is the best defensive player in the NFL? Who's the best edge rusher in the NFL?
Miles
Miles
Garrett.
Garrett, without a doubt.
You're looked at as that because you are the highest paid right now. Like, you reset the market after all the best players in that position. That's where you're at. You have to go out there and do it. That's my only point with this whole thing. And I don't think, like, people are like, I see someone there said Booner hates the deal. Dude, I don't hate the deal. Like, I thought I legit, and you guys know this, we talked about, I thought he was going to get 25.
Yeah.
I thought that was a thing. I legit thought he was going to go in there. And I thought Bijan was going to get 25. I thought the market this year was going to go from 20 to 21 all the way up to 25. So the fact that it only went to 22.5 and you have him under contract now for 5 years, I'm fine with it. Like, it's okay. Does it suck? Am I on Jeff's side a little bit with paying running backs? Yeah, I'm fine with it. Expectations come with it, though, guys. Like, people hated when I said that about Aleem, and he kind of fell off a little, obviously, the injury. But it's like the expectations come with it. And, like, it's time, like, you have to go out there and perform. You reset the market. Hutch didn't reset the market. You reset the market at your position. So asking Hutch to go out there and win Defensive Player of the Year, yeah, it's fair. He didn't reset the market. Micah Parsons did. He followed, and guess what? Went under. You have a little bit different expectations, in my opinion.
By the way, Detroit Arrow, my response to Zay Flowers thing was not at you, but it made me think of last night. So you're absolved from that. I know he was like, bro, I was just mentioning the contract. You're good, Detroit Arrow. You made me think of what Spenny said last night, and I've heard that argument consistently. So, listen, if you love it, fine. We're not going to keep arguing this all year. It is what it is. Maybe there's a time we do revisit this. But for right now, congrats to Gibbs. Let's go to break. When we come back, we'll talk about all the contracts the Lions have handed out. We'll really discuss, like, hey, can you win this way? What are some examples of teams winning this way, giving $1 billion to their own homegrown talent? We'll have that conversation. But first, I got to tell you about our friends at Planet Fitness. Because I'll tell you what, they got over 60 locations throughout Metro Detroit, so they're always close to you. The Planet Fitness High School Summer Pass is back and live until August 31st. Teens 14 to 19 can work out in a Planet Fitness for free all summer long. Register online at planetfitness.com.
Dan Campbell is in redemption mode.
No, make no mistake. It's not revenge he's after. It's a reckoning.
And Woodward Sports is here to cheer on the Detroit Lions every snap. Don't miss a moment of Detroit Lions coverage. Follow Woodward Sports on all social media platforms now.
Woodward Sports, let's go.
Some days call for light, others lean bold. What about everything in between? All Day IPA, the easy choice for every day. Citrusy, crisp, refreshing. Flavor you can float with. Light on the hops, big on refreshment. One's great. Two, even better. Brewed with you in mind. No shortcuts, no fuss. Big on flavor, never too much. All Day IPA. Hop into easy.
Jahmyr Gibbs, breakout season, loading.
Inside the 5, Gibbs to the end zone, touchdown!
Woodward Sports, the most dominant Detroit sports coverage around.
All right, we are excited to welcome Icon Auto Repair and Collision to the Woodward Sports family, guys. If you've been in an accident on your vehicle, if it needs repairs, make sure you trust the team at Icon Auto Repair and Collision. They have 3 convenient locations. You see it on the screen right next to me: Madison Heights, Shelby Township, and Pontiac. They've got you covered, guys. They also offer free car loaners and even offer to pay your deductible. Visit iconauto.com. It's the Icon that you can count on.
We're back. It's crunch time here on Woodward Sports. We talked about the Jahmyr contract. Yes, I've said my piece. Maybe. We'll see.
Yeah.
There's a lot more to say in the future.
We're at the point, though, like with you, Jeff. It's done. It's a deal. Like, let's just move on.
Yeah.
Is that fair with your take?
Well, we won't. It depends. I mean,
are we going to hear this the next 5 years from you?
No, I'm not going to keep reiterating a point that has no relevancy to what we're talking about. But if it's relevant, I'm going to repeat it.
Because he got paid. Like, it's over. He got paid.
Yeah, and I disagree with it, and I think it was a mistake. But I'm happy for him. Okay, again, it was never about him as a human being. I'm not. Listen, these guys bust their ass. My perspective's always strictly business and seeing what wins in the NFL. Either. I'm just looking at history. That's all my argument was ever based off: history, data, off Super Bowl winners. It's not a popular take, but just how it goes.
Rake in the chat said, I agree with the expectations. With expectations come with the money, but that doesn't mean Gibbs has to have the most yards to make it a good deal. If he puts up 20-plus touchdowns a year, he's still producing at a high level. Yeah, I don't think he has to, I don't think, again, like I said before, I'm not sitting here saying he needs to lead the league in rushing and need to be the rushing king every year and yards. But guess what? Like, you have to be in that top 3 in that conversation. Like Saquon, Derrick Henry, guess what? Those guys get paid. Guess what? They have been for the last, like, outside of Saquon a couple years. But, like, Derrick Henry consistently top 5 rushing running back in the NFL. He also, guess what comes along with that? He also gets 15 to 20 touchdowns a year. Right? Like, I'm sitting here, I'm expecting every year 2,000-yard years. Not rushing, but total at least, which last year he did not hit.
Yeah.
But if you just
reset, better than last year.
If you reset the market, you have to get there. You can't have 1,200 rushing yards and be the highest paid running back in the NFL. That's like paying the quarterback, the highest paid quarterback in the NFL, and him throwing for 3,000 yards. That's what that is. Or 2,700, and you're like, wait, what? Like, what's happening?
I know this player got brought up. I actually thought it was. I agree with the comment. I forgot who said it when we talked about it. So you think fully that? Like, because we're talking about resetting markets, and I know he technically didn't, but I think he was second at the time. Do you think Hutch has lived up to his contract thus far?
I think last year, like, for him, if you're top 5 paid, you should be an all-pro, and what was he last year?
He was an all-pro, but he's not in that game record category that these Will Anderson are. He's making almost the same as Will Anderson.
He is.
He's not.
Game record? Dude,
he's not.
What are you talking about? He's won games single-handedly at the end. So the Chicago Bears game a year ago when he sacked the quarterback and the ball went in the back of the end zone. Not him?
Yeah, but that's one. He is not a game record.
The Bucks game when he had 5 sacks.
Booner, he is not in the
in the
category
playoffs, getting
of the
2
max
sacks in the playoff game to help win.
So he's in the category
interceptions.
Come on. So you think he's in the category?
He's
of
an all-pro edge rusher.
But do you think he's a game wrecker?
He's 100% in the category of a Max Crosby.
He's
obviously not. He's obviously not like a. He's not in there with Miles. He's not in there with Miles Garrett. He's not in there with that yet. Like where he's like a defensive player of the year. But he's a top 5 edge rusher in this league. There's definitely levels to it. There's definitely the tier 1 guys, the S tier guys like Miles Garrett. Where like he's not close to that. But he's in that next tier where you're sitting there with Max Crosby and those guys to where, he is a game wrecker. Like to say Aiden Hutchinson's not a game wrecker is crazy.
I don't think it's crazy.
He's not a Miles Garrett game wrecker or a TJ Watt one yet.
Well, he's getting paid
but he wrecks games.
He's getting paid like it.
We have seen him single-handedly wreck a game and end a game.
I haven't seen
in the playoff. The Rams game last year when he sacked Matthew Stafford on the last play to send it to overtime. That's not game wrecking?
No, that's one play a game.
One play a game, that's what it is. At the end of the game when it comes down to it.
Game wrecking is when you take over a game but I guess that we're using semantics on what we're calling a game wrecker, but he's not in the category. If we're going to talk about expectations.
So he's a game wrecker, but he's not a tier 1 game wrecker.
We have to talk about the other thing, but I do want to ask you, Caleb, because I disagree. I'm with Booner on this. Like, he had 14.5 sacks last year. If we take out Myles Garrett, who's like the anomaly at 23, the leader was 16.5. He's 2 sacks away from being number 1 besides Myles Garrett.
I agree, and the numbers are there, and the numbers he has are going to get him to an all-pro, but he's not like, look at where those sacks were.
He's constantly you look at the context though. He's constantly one of the most chipped and double team players. I understand that.
I hate that.
I understand that, but here's the thing. Danielle Hunter was above him. Danielle has Will Anderson. Will Anderson has Danielle Hunter. Brian Burns, who does he have on his D-line last year?
I mean,
do you think of those guys? I probably name them.
I just don't know how you go watch Aiden Hutchinson film.
Like Nick Bonito up there as well. This is where
you get to a different level of like, hey, like if you actually watch Aiden Hutchinson, like me and Easy were watching Aiden Hutchinson versus Darnell Wright last year. Darnell Wright, second team All-Pro. Aiden Hutchinson was eating him alive. Darnell Wright couldn't do anything. He couldn't touch him. Aiden Hutchinson was getting to the Caleb Williams so easy. And it's like, dude, that's where it's like a different level where we can just look at the sheet and be like, well, what has he done in big
moments? You know what's crazy,
too? Dude, he has single-handedly won games in fourth quarters or sent you to overtime multiple times. He's ended games multiple times off sacks. Like, he has stepped up in big moments when he has nothing else around him. He has no secondary. He has no other edge rusher on the other side. If you go watch the film of Aiden Hutchinson, he will dominate an all-pro tackle. Dominate. So there's tiers to it for sure, but Aiden Hutchinson dominates guys like that.
I do agree with that. I think Hutch's biggest problem is just finishing plays sometimes because he gets in the backfield almost at will. If you just watch like what he does, getting in the backfield is not a problem, and that's where I kind of wonder like what do y'all define as game wrecking? Because if you're getting in the backfield but not completing the play or getting the sack, then game wrecker is kind of a loose term. I'm more in line with y'all. I think he is game wrecker-esque or game wrecker adjacent. I don't know if he's the level. Of course, he's not the level of Myles Garrett, but even like he said, a Will Anderson or Max Crosby, I'm not sure he's even at that level. But he's right there. but I do think his game can take another step. And maybe if his game does take that other step, maybe we would universally consider him more of a game wrecker. That's just me though. But what do y'all consider a game wrecker?
Even here, I look up
game
Well, I was gonna ask Caleb, like, give me your game wreckers.
I mean, obviously, Miles Garrett's in a.
Okay, he's
in
in his
the
own
class of his
category.
own.
I would
We
even
know
say
that. We
healthy
know that.
Micah is in that Miles Garrett category.
Micah, I forgot about him. Yeah.
Micah is.
And besides those, like, who?
T.J. Watt is a.
Okay,
is a
he
game
could be
wrecker.
in that category as well.
And
Those three are like top of the league. Okay, outside of that, who?
I would call Will Anderson a game wrecker.
At this point, yes, I would.
Okay.
There's players.
What do you even? I'm so confused. Like, what do you consider game wrecker? Like, I've been looking here. Like, I'm looking up.
Bro, Hutch disappears for like 3/4 of games sometimes.
But like you're basing him off of Miles Garrett, who gets 4 sacks in a game. Like Hutch, like I get that, but when you're playing, like, and we all know this, go look at the percentage of snaps that Hutch has played compared to every other edge rusher. That was a thing
point.
last year
That's a
where
good
he's on the
point,
field
yes.
90% of defensive snaps.
Yeah, 90.
When even Miles Garrett is out there like 60% of the time.
Yeah, that's
like
not his fault.
and so to be like disappears, like no, when he's in a good spot, and he is, and especially too, like the Giants game last year, Gibbs has that break-off touchdown run, right? Jameis Winston and the Giants, who all game were destroying you, has a final drive to go win the game or tie the game. How does that game end? Do you remember?
But where was Hutch the rest of the game?
But that's as a game wrecker. It's like, hey, when push comes to shove, it's time to win a football game. Or your star stepping up. Aiden Hutchinson in those moments, it seems like constantly shows up. You saw versus the Rams, versus the Bucks, versus the Bears, versus the Giants, where he literally had the game-winning sack after Gibbs had the touchdown run. He steps up 4th and 5, an offense that's been destroying you this whole time, and you could be like, where does he step up? Hutch can't literally sack the quarterback every possession.
No, I
Caleb.
understand that.
He can't do it every possession. When you have a bad
would
secondary.
think if his usage rate is way higher than everybody else, then his production would be more. I understand he don't have the best on the other side.
But
of
even
him.
last year, you don't have an interior that can even.
Well, that's the biggest argument. Like, we're arguing this is too long. The only thing we could say is like, okay, besides T.J. Watt, Miles Garrett, Micah, the other guys, who's on their defensive line? Because you will lose that argument with every single player you look at.
They were
you want to
so
bring
bad
up
last
anybody.
year.
Will Anderson, like, I love Will Anderson. Bro's got the number 3 in sacks guy on the other side of him with Danielle Hunter, which you should say, well, it could take some sacks away, but dude. You know how many one-on-ones those guys are getting because they have to decide who they're going to double team?
They still are going to get
Yeah,
shit.
I understand that, but even like you bring up, like, okay, let's throw in like some other guys. Like, name another guy that you like.
Crosby.
Oh, dude, I love Max Crosby. Like, him and Aiden are about the same. Like, I think Hush is just as good as Max Crosby, and I love Max Crosby. Max Crosby's go look at his numbers, seriously. And I love Max Crosby. He's just like he's done a lot in Vegas with really nothing, and he's a dog. But like, okay, for Hutch last year, where was Aleem? Nowhere. Who they have on the D-line? AQM. He played in like 300 snaps. He was barely on the field, and when he did, he got sacks. But he didn't play
Max
a lot.
Crosby's played in like 4 more seasons than Hutch, and his career high is 14.5, which Hutch had last year. Like that's where it's just like I get you, but like Max Crosby's good. I like him. I'm taking Hutch over.
Hutch
Max
has done
Crosby.
this with basically, and all due respect, like not a lot to work with.
Yeah,
not a lot.
I think
that's
it's
more than fair.
Yeah, I think it's more
You know what
impressive
I mean?
the fact that he doesn't have.
Are we all in agreement that Hutch can take another step?
Yes, he can get to that. I'm not gonna say Miles Garrett because he was 2-time defensive player of the year, the
like,
greatest ever.
but
But he can get to a level to where you can get to
sack guy,
17, 18.
I want a year like
100%.
that.
Like think about the year he got hurt.
So
dude,
with
he was
that-
on track for almost 20
No, for
sacks.
sure.
Gets hurt. He was having an incredible year. I think it's almost more impressive when Aiden Hutchinson has 14.5 last year. When last year was the worst defensive line that they had since he's been there.
Yeah.
The interior was terrible. Like quarterbacks could literally walk up the middle of that interior when they dropped back. And if people would be like, "Oh, Hutch didn't finish plays," guys, Hutch could get to the quarterback, and the quarterback.
Oh, he gets back there. That's not.
He
the problem.
does, and
gets
the
back
quarterback last year had the biggest hole in the middle just to run through because your interior was not there. You had no other AQM. Like, guys, what are we talking about
No,
here?
and like I said, I'm leaning more y'all argument. But if there is another level for Hutch to hit, then wouldn't that add credence to Caleb's argument?
Yeah, but he's a game wrecker already. We've seen him literally wreck games single-handedly.
Yeah, you know what? Let's move on. We're not going anywhere with this. Let's take a break. When we come back, we'll get into this the $1 billion stuff because let's talk about can the Lions win the way they're paying guys, paying their homegrown talent. We'll get into that. Caleb, though, tell me about buddies.
Yeah, let me tell you about buddies real quick. Football season coming up. That means you're going to have some gatherings, some people over. Some gatherings, you know, some watch parties. And buddies is going to be the place to be. You can get $10 off your $50 order using promo code WWS 26. That's WWS 26. With 20 locations across Michigan, there's always a Buddy's near you to cash in on this offer. Find a location near you or order online at buddiespizza.com.
A ton of fun, a ton of sports, and a ton of man meat. Welcome to the Woodward Heavyweights, live daily 5 to 7 p.m. on Woodward Sports.
It is Joey with Woodward Sports, and in 2017, I trusted Dr. Yeldo with my eyes, and it was the best decision I've ever made. No more glasses or contacts, just clear vision every single day.
Hi, I'm Darren McCarty, 4-time Stanley Cup champion. If I had LASIK back in the day, I probably would have won 8 Stanley Cups. So if you're thinking about LASIK, do it now. Tell them, Doc.
Come see me. You have nothing to lose. It's a free consultation.
For a limited time, LASIK only $19.99 per eye. Call Yeldo Eye Center. Let them know Woodward Sports sent you, but please don't wait like I did. Call them now.
Planet Fitness now has even more best-in-class strength equipment. Join today for $1 down and save.
We're stepping it up.
We're not slowing down.
Finding new faith, new focus.
Love that new equipment smell.
So, you in?
Join the club today. Save when you join for just $1 down, $15 a month. Planet Fitness. We're all strong on this planet.
Coverage. Make sure you subscribe to Woodward Tigers on YouTube. All Tigers, all the time. For the hardcore Detroit sports fans who can't get enough of the Motor City's teams. All season long, you'll get non-stop Tigers content from on-field interviews, post-game reactions, and roundtable insight from Woodward Sports.
If you're looking for a new career upgrade, guys, Caleb thinks Aiden Hutchinson might be looking for one, I guess.
Come on.
Check out Mortgage Pros, the #1 mortgage broker to work for in the entire state of Michigan. We saw their incredible company culture, guys, at their annual block party a couple months ago, and they have 4.9 stars and over 4,000 reviews on Google. So if you are looking for a new job, give Mortgage Pros in Troy a call at 248-416-1361. It's Mortgage Pros. Let the pros handle it. Caleb.
We're back. It's Crunch Time, Woodward Sports. I'm going to get to these super chats. Let's see. Devin, appreciate the $2. Says day 2, Booner yells more than a YN woman. Okay, he's shout out Devin. Sideless, appreciate the 5. This is a weird abstract angle, but good thing in the 2024 class was so poor. After the 2023 class is locked up, we have a full gap before 2025
It's true. We've actually brought that up before. It's like, yeah, it sucks that class sucked, but thank goodness you don't have to pay them.
Yeah.
Because you would really be in a...
Are we really doing that?
That's true, though. It is true.
That's one of the that is one of the highest levels of cope I've ever heard.
No, it's not cope.
Thank God that draft class sucked, man. We don't have to pay him.
I mean, your GM pays his own guys, all of them.
I don't think it's a thank God. I think it's like a what's like the term when it's like something.
And I know you're saying weird abstract angle,
like
Silas, so I understand your.
It's like a bittersweet situation, like a thing where it's like, would you like 24 to actually work out and get guys that can play? 100% you would have, but like, I guess one positive out of it, you don't have to pay the guys. I guess that's
right.
It's
a bright side.
The only reason I gotta put it, it's like the.
I don't think it's a cope.
It's the Shaq, man. It's the Shaq timeout meme because I saw yesterday. Like, man, if you think about it, Taron Arnold getting cut kind of freed up money for Gibbs.
No, it didn't. You were never paying
guys.
TA.
We don't know that.
There's no way you were paying TA.
No. Whoa.
We
Besides the point.
Silver lining. Thank you, Detroit Arrow. It's a silver lining.
It's
not a cope. It's a silver lining.
The point of it is, like, you could say, well, TA getting cut did save us money for Jahmyr Gibbs. No, we want TA on the freaking team, man.
We do. Obviously, we would rather that's where you know what the silver lining is. It's like you obviously would like something to work out and you would like it, but it's like something bad that happens. All right, what's something good we can take out of it?
All right,
we're doing semantics again.
I am trolling.
But I
have seen that often. I'm like, guys, man.
Two comments real quick. Tim said maybe that was by design, Jeff. Maybe it was.
That's hilarious.
Second comment, Lion Lifer said Caleb did not just call Hutch a jag. Say it ain't.
Hold on.
No, Caleb.
Y'all gotta relax, bro. Chill on Caleb. He never said Hutch was a scrub.
I never said he was a scrub.
This argument is not based.
I don't know what's happening here right now. Caleb's turning into a Russian spy too.
No, I'm not. Look, I've had this take for a long time, and what's crazy is that I've heard a ton of people say it that Hutch needs to take another step. But when I say it, it's like I'm the dumbest person
Well,
alive.
no,
Not
we
from
didn't-
you guys.
We
not
got
from you
caught
guys.
up on the word game record.
By the way, yeah, there's two separate arguments.
We got caught up
Does
on
he
the
need to take a
word.
step? I think everyone in this room thinks yes. We would love for him to become
And that's
defensive
more
player
of
of
the
the year.
argument. That's more of the argument.
Saying he's not a game wrecker, that
Okay,
one is
we're
the
not,
wrong.
we can't
part.
dive
Yeah,
back
we
into
can't-
this.
we can't
But
do
I
that.
will. And by the way, you think you're in a tough spot right now? Let's read this comment. Let's have fun with this
The
one.
chat.
King Turner,
Oh.
Jeff's sick when players get paid.
Jeff Illich.
He is an anti-pay player.
No, you think you're in a bad situation?
Everybody got narratives.
People like King Turner, by the way, shout out to you, King Turner. Appreciate you watching. They really believe that I get upset when players get paid. So, yeah, things can be interpreted differently, Caleb. Welcome to the club.
Keith Smith in chat. Booner, mog these clowns, please. And then the next chat is, I'm salty. Booner overreacting like a true cheerleader. Just back to back,
can't
opposite.
win, bro.
Yeah,
You
it's
can't-
crazy.
By the way, I got to get to these super chats. Pinochet. Oh, another one. Caleb, watch this one. Juicy. You ain't this dumb, right? And by the way, he got 4 thumbs up.
Oh no!
Shout out Peanut.
By the way,
man.
no. Shout out to you, bro. Honestly, I laugh at it. It's hilarious. Yeah. And also, like, I don't know. Asking
People
me if
take
I'm,
words out of context.
asking if I'm this dumb, I would argue that that's subjective. I don't think I'm dumb.
Are you that dumb?
Subjective?
Define-
I
Is
could
Aiden
say,
Hutchinson a jag?
Okay, well, that's objective. He is not a jag. But yeah, appreciate the $2.
Nobody
And
said
no,
he
I am
was.
not that dumb. Eduardo, appreciate the 5. Second game, Green Bay game. Green Bay needed Micah to stop the Lions, and he stepped up. We needed our guy to stop Green Bay. He said, nah, I'm cool. So he's not on that level. Talking about Hutch.
He's not on Michael's level. We agreed on that, though.
Yeah,
The
we did agree
Packers
on that.
have okay, fine, but the Packers have like an incredible defense, top to bottom. Like, so Micah benefits from that.
And
Hutch is
Incredible
Hutch.
strong, good.
It's
yes.
no,
It's
it is.
good,
Last
but
year,
incredible is
Last year they had good secondary. They have good secondary players. They have good linebackers.
They do.
They have a good defense.
defense.
At that time as
Really
well,
good
they had
defense.
defensive tackles. Like they were good.
Tev Sauce, appreciate the 2. He says, this might be Caleb's worst take, low key.
Look, it's Friday. We're
No,
just having
high
fun.
key.
High key.
Everything said on Friday, it disappears. Doesn't count.
I think
What did I
we
say
just
on
got
Fri-
caught
oh,
up
yeah.
on the word game record.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's funny.
Game record, like you said, can be subjective.
Someone said, Tim says, Jeff gets a cut of the salary caps.
Jeff also he's anti-pay players. He wants to take jobs away from people.
Yeah, just
All
feeding
right,
the
you
narrative.
see what he does.
Yeah,
He
man,
feeds narratives.
this is
No,
tough.
guys, I've been a fan of 90% of these contracts being handed out. So
I'm
that is not
hey,
true.
by people, that's just I'm joking. For people who
Yeah.
don't know, I'm joking.
I do. As fair share, I may criticize Brad Holmes. I definitely do. But I definitely praise him as well.
Exactly.
But
you
keep
can't
it
do both in
consistent.
this town. You know that.
You can't. No, you
Yeah.
cannot. And I when I had the chance, luckily, to interview Brad, he's cool with that. He
Yeah.
understands that completely. Like he that's why I got a lot of respect for Brad because he's like, yeah, I get it. Like, guy worked at PR. He understands how it goes. All right, let's get into this conversation. Appreciate the super chats, by the way. Appreciate it. We'll get to them as soon as you send them. But so the Lions have given over $1 billion to this football team out in extensions.
It's crazy.
Out in extensions, totality. Caleb, you got the graphic? Let's put it on the screen for the people to get the context. So here are the extensions that have been handed out for the Lions. I'm not going to go through all of them, but you guys see the names. Over $1 billion in total money. Now, Jahmyr Gibbs, Aiden Hutchinson, Jack Campbell, Jared Goff, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Penei Sewell, Jameson Williams, Kirby Joseph, and Ali McNeil. With Brian Branch coming out down the pipeline, Sam Laporta coming down the pipeline, and then other players that maybe you have to think about if they do end up being really good. I'll throw Tate Rowledge out there, examples like that. So, it's a lot of money. And I think the common question and the common debate is homegrown talent versus, being more proactive in free agency and trades. That's like the biggest debate, at least in this town, with the Detroit Lions. You see what Les Snead does, and they're obviously big in acquisitions. And then you see Howie Roseman, and he drafts really well, and so does Les Snead. Les Snead drafted, Kyron, Puka, all these other guys, some good players on their team. But they also try and value the importance of acquisitions, like Myles freaking Garrett. Okay, obviously
Didn't even need him.
And then you have the Eagles kind of do that too. And the Lions are doing it like, hey, we're gonna draft, develop, and sign our own players. Brad has been very, very consistent with that. Now, I don't, unfortunately, and I love digging through data, I don't have an example of a team winning with a heavy majority, that's the key word, of their homegrown talent with little outside additions, or at least like low-end cheap outside additions. But I do have examples of teams that have won with their own players. There are examples of that, by the way. And if you look through NFL history, there's a lot of teams that have won with players, a handful of players that have been drafted, developed on their football team. So that actually happened. So I'm not even here to say like, oh, the way the Lions are doing it, they're stupid. What I will say, though, is you got to really dig, and you're not really going to find a lot or find really anything of teams that have drafted, developed, and signed all of their players in one. Usually it's guys that haven't gotten contracts yet that are drafted that are on the team. I don't know examples. I don't. And I've tried looking. Like I saw the Chiefs. When the Chiefs won, they had a lot of homegrown talent, but they weren't all paid yet. So it's hard to find an example of a team that had homegrown talent that were all making top market money and won. So the only thing you can look forward to, and I'm here to help as a Detroit Lions fan, is you're thinking to yourself, man, like, this is a good team. We got talent. How do we win? Well, the answer, and I hinted it at the beginning, but now more people have joined, so I'll repeat it. You got to nail draft picks. You got to nail draft picks going forward to get cheap contracts that outproduce the money they're making. Or you get steals in free agency. Example, the Eagles brought in Zach Bond. He was basically a special teams linebacker who had like all pro seasons and got paid. That can happen too. Maybe Rock Ya-Sin can be that for you. Maybe Rock Ya-Sin turns out to be a really good corner too, and you're like, wow, we got to steal for this guy. That's obviously another way. So you got to nail draft picks. You got to get steals in free agency to kind of help out because you're paying over $1 billion in extensions. That's the pathway for the Detroit Lions because there aren't any outside additions coming that are worth anything because you don't got the money. And I'm just the bearer of bad news. I'm just telling you what it is. I'm keeping it a stack. So that's the pathway.
Yeah.
If Detroit Lions want that, there it is.
This is to the thing, and I think everyone should feel this way. And over the last 24 hours or 12 hours since this Jahmyr Gibbs contract came through, you do see, hey, Lions have given out, and people saw, hey, Jared Goff's not a homegrown guy. I get that. More so, like that tweet right there, that is basically over $1 billion, guys. $1 billion in extensions in the Brad Holmes era. So Jared Goff is included in that. It's not just homegrown guys, but you are giving guys, you could argue Jared Goff obviously didn't get drafted here. He is a Detroit Lions, Brad Holmes era guy. $1 billion in extensions. And this is where my mind goes all the time because the words that I heard, Jeff, I've heard homegrown, I've heard blue chip guys, talent on this team, how good it all is because you are given $1 billion in extensions. But guess what, guys? And I'm going to be quite frank with everyone. The Gibbs contract means nothing. The Goff contract means nothing. The Hutch one, Branch, when he gets his, all of these contracts mean nothing. When you're drafting this well, it means nothing unless you win a Super Bowl. And we haven't seen a team go win one. None of it matters, guys. Like the Seahawks, guess what? They did it a different way, but guess what they did? They won a Super Bowl. It worked for them. The Bucs, I saw a Bucs fan in the chat. Guess what? Jason Lidge, yeah, he's a top 5 GM. Guess what? Because he's won a Super Bowl. Howie Roseman, he's there. Guess why? Won a Super Bowl. Like I can just keep going down the list and down the list and down the list. I don't care if you're doing it a different way, guys, and Brad Holmes wants to pay his guys. You have to go win a Super Bowl. That's the bottom line, or else none of it matters.
Yeah, and by the way, like also because I see this too, and it doesn't make me laugh because we were looked at as, maybe I've said my fair share of positive takes, and I'll when they do good things I say good things, when they do bad things I say bad things, but many people just think I'm Mr. Negative Nelly. But what I will say is the positive of all this, and you got to credit Brad Holmes. That guy's nailed drafts. He hasn't nailed the last two. Well, this one we'll see. I like this draft.
Yeah.
But 2024 was a rough one. But the fact that you've given out over $1 billion in extensions means you're nailing draft picks. So that is the praise for Brad. The guy hits. Now, ideally, we get back to, hitting at a high rate or a higher than average rate. I'm not saying you got to be perfect going forward so you do get contributors on rookie deals. It would be nice if Ennis Rakestraw can go out there and ball out. That would obviously help this team because he's on a rookie deal, and they need that. So, like, that's the positive. Is like the Lions fans are lucky to have a GM that can identify talent through the draft like Brad on a consistent basis. Now, there's downs, obviously, with that 2024. But, like, this is the trade-off, to your point, Boone. Like, you got to hand out over $1 billion because these guys are all good players.
And no other franchise has done it like that
so
way.
I am kind of curious. It is experimental in a way. Again, there's examples of teams that have had homegrown talent. There just isn't with over $1 billion in extensions and they win. So it is something I'm curious about.
Listen, I love, like, and you guys know I drink the Kool-Aid. We saw a comment the other day. It was like, and I had a negative take, and people were like, this is the guy that drinks the Kool-Aid? Like, yeah, no, I do. But at the end of the day, it's like all these clips and everything, we can have, the heavyweights can celebrate and take their victory laps on Gibbs and do all this. But at the end of the day, like, if you do all these signings and Gibbs is here for $22.5 million and that, and you end up in the next 3 years not winning a Super Bowl, what did those victory laps even matter?
Yeah.
And again, it's just a path that we really haven't seen a GM take because Brad's drafted so well. Like, you haven't really seen, but you've also seen GMs draft as good as Brad Holmes. But guess what those guys have done?
Yeah.
They've let some of them walk. Not all of them. They've let some of them walk, and they go out and get other players for maybe cheaper that, you kind of fill out that roster a little bit more. He's really betting on, hey, let's have a top-end heavy roster with our guys because we love our guys. Let's pay our guys money, and let's go win a Super Bowl that way. Like, it's just a different approach. But like, when I see these victory laps happen and stuff, like, yeah, in the moment, it's, okay, cool, we got our running back, right? Oh, cool, we got Jared Goff here for the next few years. Oh, they restructured him here for an extra year or two. Whatever it is, like, I think in the moment, it's awesome. To me, though, and I told Jeff last night and even this morning, like, I instantly just turned to the part, like, as a fan for me, especially in Detroit, I just want a Super Bowl. And, like, I think fans sometimes forget that. Like, when you see these victory laps of these small little, like, contracts, you forget, like, hey, what is it? You need to win a Super Bowl, bro. That's where my brain goes to every single time. And it's like, if you can do these it means literally nothing. That, oh, you had the best running back in football? Cool. Like, how cool was it in the 90s to have Barry Sanders? Was it sick? It was cool. Would you guys have rather had a Super Bowl in the 90s?
Of course.
Yeah, like, that's where I'm at with it, and that's where my brain, because you haven't won one in my lifetime, my brain goes to that every single time. Like, it is awesome to have the best player at that position. Give me a Lombardi trophy. Like, I would trade, if they were like right now, would you trade Aiden Hutchinson, Jahmyr Gibbs, J-Mo, Amon-Ra, Jared Goff, and you're guaranteed yourself a Lombardi trophy? I would trade every single one of them. I could care less about the contracts, the players. Give me a Lombardi. So none of these guys, like, dude, like, Brad, you can do $1 billion and it looks cool in the moment, and you look like you're cool drafting all these. I don't care until you win a Super Bowl.
And they know that too. Like, you know, and I think the thing for me, this is where and believe it or not, and people I know there's a lot of people that probably don't believe this, but I'll say it anyway. Every time I give a take about, especially like this recent Jahmyr Gibbs one, it's always with good intention on trying to get closer to winning that Super Bowl. That's where it's coming from. Whether, you know, I pound the table on how bad this defense is and how badly I want them to be elite, and maybe different suggestions I throw out there to, hey, let's get closer to an elite defense. It's all for what? To win a Super Bowl. Because there's just, I don't know, so much data to look at with all these Super Bowl appearances from the different organizations that just have something in common, right? It's always great defenses. So that's why we you know, all the stuff we talk about on this show, that's where it comes from. But I'll say this, like, someone brought up, I want to address this comment because it's actually a good comment for the hits. Dropped it in there. And I think he's not alone on this. That's why I want to bring it up. So he was bringing up, for example, if you let a Jack Campbell walk, you want a great linebacker to replace him. You think you'll find a linebacker for cheaper, or are you just going to pay him as much as you pay them just as much anyway? Basically what he's saying is, like, okay, you draft a really good player, you let him walk. You got to bring in a caliber of player just as important, so it's going to cost money. So why not just re-sign your own guys? It's this, and by the way, you're right about that because that's how the Lions view this. I've heard it from Brad.
Yeah,
that's how they view re-signing their own guys. They look at it as big free agency acquisitions. They look at it as when we re-sign Gibbs, we just got a big time player in free agency. That's how they treat it. Now, I get that, but as a GM, and I've obviously never been a GM, but I've been watching football for a while, and I dig into all the stats I can potentially dig into because it's my job. The thing I noticed, and I think with GMs, what they have to think about is, okay, I'm handing out extensions to all these different players. What players can I afford to replace? What's a player that I think, hey, he's a good player, but if we let him walk, we could probably get something, maybe not as good, but we can still get by with a cheaper option. That's what they have to think about, you know? Like quarterback, obviously no quarterback. I mean, the Bucs are probably going to do it with Baker, but typically teams pay their quarterbacks because if that guy walks, you are boned.
Screwed.
Unless you have maybe someone in the wings waiting.
Right.
Typically a left tackle you pay, because if he's not there, your quarterback, who you paid, is boned. You're a defensive end, like a Hutch. Getting after opposing quarterbacks is important. So stuff like that. So I'm very curious, like, for example, with Sam Laporta, he plays tight end. I do wonder, here we go again, what Brad kind of thinks about that. Like, could we find maybe not a Sam directly out of the draft, but maybe a couple, 2-3 tight ends that we can supplement that production? And
he's done that before.
Yeah. I am just kidding. That's just me spitballing with this.
Right, right.
So, and I don't think it's the same with Brian. I think if you lose Brian,
yeah,
it's going to be hard to find that dude again.
True,
but
true.
But maybe Brad views it as like, hey, I drafted 2 really good safeties. I could draft another one.
No, for sure. And that's always the argument here. And I always find this argument funny because we are a town in which at one point guys wasn't even making it to second contracts. That was like an unknown thing here. So I do think that, just for our fan base, is something that we are not used to at all. And it's not to say Brad can't win this way. I think that if you have good enough players, then obviously you can win, albeit it hasn't happened yet. I think a big factor in us not doing it to this point has been injuries. Not to blame it solely on that. There's been other caveats, but that's been a main problem with this Lions team over the last few years that we can track and say, okay, they didn't get here because this was a big factor. However, I do think it's one of them things, and I'm a big Brad Holmes guy. I've been called a Brad bot on this network for many years, and I take that with a smile because I can look at this guy and see he's the most competent GM that the Lions have ever had.
Yeah, no question.
And it's without a doubt, Brad Holmes will probably, to this point, go down as the best GM in Lions history. But I do think you have to have that balance of knowing when to strike when the iron's hot. Like you said, knowing how to make a tough decision. Okay, maybe we can use a cheaper option here and still get by. I love this guy a lot, but maybe if I trade him to another team and get this asset back, this will work better for us in the next 2 to 3 years.
And he did that with Hawk.
Exactly. There's examples of him kind of doing that, but in terms of the big name players that he has drafted and that have kind of changed the landscape of what the Lions look like, he has relented to let go of those players when those tough decisions have come up. And I do think that you have to have a little bit of a balance there, because there's more examples than not that when you can be a Les Snead and strike when iron's hot, go get a Myles Garrett. When you can be a Howie Roseman and make certain moves, go get a Saquon, go win a Super Bowl. Those are the moves that you have to make at any given time. There's no telling when those moments will come up. You got to be ready for when they do, though. And that's the only part where I wonder if Brad is kind of gun shy, because it just from my perspective, it does appear like Brad is maybe afraid to pull the trigger on some of these things, because he said it at the podium. We can bring in a great player, and that player, you've heard all these things about him, but if we bring him in here, it could not work.
Right.
And that's cool. Yes, it could not work, but I want to hear about what if it does work.
Yep.
And we haven't seen that side.
And to that point, I'm with you with the Brad. He's the best GM we've had, and he's one of the best in the league. I still think he's still top 7. Yeah. The only issue though, thing is, it's a low bar in Detroit for to be the best GM,
and that's a fact.
And I get it. So I think it kind of blinds people a little bit. Hey, don't go hate or don't go push back at Brad Holmes, because he's the best we've ever had at Detroit.
That's also true.
So you're in a spot to where it's hey, you're the bad guy when you do push back a little bit. But the reality of the situation is here in Detroit and with the Detroit Lions is there is definitely, it's the same thing with the Hutch conversation. It's the same thing in every sport, the Scott Harris thing. It's there's levels to being a GM in the NFL, right? Yeah. There's the Les Sneads, the Howie Rosemans, and then there's the next level, the Jason Lights, those guys, and then there's the Brad Holmes, to where Brad Holmes, if you asked me 2 years ago, coming off the NFC Championship and going into the next year, even when they went 15-2, we did GM rankings and I had Brad in the top 5. But if you ask me now, I drop him down a little bit because, hey, he had those moments. And he had the opportunities to, like you said, when the iron's hot, are you going to strike? Is it time to go? And you see the videos coming out of Howie Roseman in the Eagles war room, making those trades, making those picks, trading up to get guys at Jahad Campbell's and making those moves because he knows this is going to make me a Super Bowl contender. We haven't seen that from Brad. And that's where it's hey, there are different parts of it being a GM. There's drafting, there's free agency, there's trade deadlines. There's also, when you do become a Super Bowl contender, are you going to take that next jump, which we see Les Snead doing this summer. We've seen him do it 3 years ago. Brad hasn't done that yet. And that's where I think there's different levels to this thing. And just because, hey, he's the best that our town's ever seen, and he's still a top 10 GM in this league, does that put him in that tier 1 of top 5? Hey, he for sure can go win a Super Bowl? No, it doesn't.
No.
Because on top of that, it's a conversation, and you know I'm going to do. Someone in the chat said, has a team ever won doing it? The kind of won a Super Bowl with the approach that Brad has. No one has, because teams, when like you said, the iron's hot, they go and make big moves, and that's a fact. I remember a couple months ago I did that. I'll go back and look for my notes for next week. I'll bring it back. But teams have, like, when they're about to get to that point, like in Tampa, let's go get Tom Brady. Our team's built. We have a Super Bowl team built. What's our only problem? We need a freaking quarterback.
Right.
And they do that. The Rams right now, they have Stafford. They have an elite offense.
They have so many.
They needed to go out and get, they needed to upgrade their secondary. What did they do? They went and got 2 of the top corners that were available on the market.
Eagles, A.J. Brown, Saquon.
Eagles, So, like, these teams do that. And it's like, that's something when you want to win a Super Bowl, you have to do. Like, what did the Seahawks do? They had an elite defense. They built their defense up. What did they need? They needed that quarterback to just keep them afloat and to go help them win games. They went and got Sam Darnold. And I know that's not a big addition, but it's a different addition to where I'm like this team, hey, when you need that, when you're one piece away, you have to make that move to get it. You can't just keep being like, let's be patient. And then when you push back at Brad for it, guess what? 80% of the fan base is going to be mad at you and say, oh, you're a hater. You're the worst ever because he's the best we've ever seen. But just because he's the best we've ever seen doesn't mean he's going to get us there.
Yeah.
It's a low bar in Detroit, guys.
No, it's a fact.
Out of any fan base in the NFL, we probably have the lowest bar. We did before Brad.
Yeah, absolutely. What do you say to the comments like this, the DJCI? Why do people act like Howie and Les won right away? Les took 7 years to even get a playoff win, but that doesn't fit media narratives.
I do think, here's the thing. I think that is fair to say. I do think Brad, that's why I'm not like, there might be a crowd of people that are like, man, if he hot seat, like I don't think that's the case with him. I think for Brad Holmes, I just think the expectations have changed because he's built such a great team so early.
I think it's weird, I don't think it cares about the timeline of when you get there. I think it's like, hey, when you do get to that Super Bowl expectation, what do you do with it?
Yeah, like for me,
he's better.
I've been consistent. And you know this. You can back me up on this. Like I've been clamoring to do that move since 2023.
Exactly.
Like because, and the reason I'm not going to sit here and we're not getting down the window thing again. But what I will say is, when 2023 occurred, before then, that trade deadline, when you didn't make any moves, that time everybody was cheap. That's when you strike. Now when everyone's expensive, that's why you notice I haven't really been saying anything, and usually I'm pro make a move. Why would I say that to Brad? You can't. Yeah. You physically can't go make that big move unless you shed contracts because your money's tight. Back then, you had the opportunity to do that. I think it was always in Brad's head, and I don't know this, but I'm just speculating, like, hey, we're planning down the line because we want to extend these guys. And I think he was just so focused on that maybe they didn't make those moves. But right now, it's just going to be more difficult. So, again, you praise the guy. He's a hell of a GM. It's not even about, like, he's a bad GM. It's just like, I am curious to see, like, this is the experiment we're all going to be watching. It's like, can you win with homegrown talent that you maxed out?
Absolutely.
Not just homegrown talent, but
and
that
it
you
just
maxed
appears out. That he wants to have sustained success. I know that those two words, we hate them. But that is the philosophy here.
It is.
He's not willing to just go in 1 year, hey, I'm going to risk some picks, and, if we have a losing season the next year like the Rams, we'll just take it on the chin and then we'll build this thing back up. He's not willing to go that far.
They believe in multiple strikes at it.
Exactly.
That's what they think, whether you disagree with it or not.
Yeah.
Let's take a break. We come back.
Too, real quick, I just want to, because what I was saying before that is like to that comment about like Les Snead took that much time, Howie Roseman took that much time. Again, it is that point of like, when do you get there? Like, I will say Brad Holmes did a better job to start his career as a GM of building the Lions than Howie Roseman did with the Eagles and Les Snead did with the Rams. He got there quicker. I would give him an A to their first, getting there. But when they all got there, then that's when the resume, like if you want to be an elite GM in this league, if you want to be known as one of the greatest, your resume, in my opinion, it starts when you had that Super Bowl roster. Like when you get to that point, boom, it starts now. Or else you would be fired. So it starts now. And then it's like when they get there, what do they take advantage of? Right. Those guys have done it. He hasn't. And I don't think you can have an argument against that. I really do. You could say it just because you're a slappy, whatever it is. I don't think you can genuinely be like, oh, no. Like I think you have to look at it and be like, that's fair. That's a fair point.
Yeah. Well, before we go to break, Caleb, I want to get your thought. Are we off? Are we off base?
No,
is it fair?
Is Brad a jag?
No, no, he's not. He's definitely not a jag. And he's not a jag. And honestly, like especially with this Jahmyr Gibbs contract extension, everything, like that whole thing looming. My opinion of Brad has honestly changed over the past year because, yes, I was frustrated with kind of being tight financially, him always re-signing their homegrown guys, but kind of the way I've looked at it, and Jahmyr Gibbs is kind of like, it's very symbolic. Like, why would you not do this? Like, when you look at guys like Les Snead and Howie Roseman and, you know, even John Lynch, like they had the opportunity to go trade for McCaffrey, Howie Roseman, Saquon, you know, Les Snead, obviously, you know, Myles Garrett and all these guys. They didn't re-sign their guys, and that's their way of building their team. But if you're Brad Holmes and you put yourself in a position with that 2023 draft and then drafts before that with Amon-Ra, St. Brown, and Penei Sewell, why would you not re-sign those guys? Those guys are all pros. So obviously I was frustrated last year with how I guess it was just like, well, it was probably because they were losing, but I just thought this is not the way to build a team. But my opinion has definitely changed. Like, why would you not resign these guys? And I think there is a chance you could win the way Brad Holmes is building the team.
Anakin in the chat said, instead of being happy, y'all are just being like the syndicate. Shout out the syndicate, man. He's
why'd he catch us straight?
Right. Don't need to do that, but I think he's more so saying, because we love the syndicate.
Yeah, shout out Lion Syndicate.
I think he's more so saying that we're pushing back at Brad, and a day where people are like, Jahmyr Gibbs got signed, you should be happy. Have you guys ever seen the movie The Other Guys?
Oh, I love that.
One of my.
Do you guys remember the moment where they're going to that guy at the accounting firm and they're like trying to get information from him, and he keeps giving them like Knicks tickets?
Oh yeah.
That to me, that right now is like Lions fans with Brad Holmes and the Lions, where we just are coming off a season, guys, where you were 9-8 after going 15-2. You missed the playoffs. You finished last in the division, and we're all like, oh, Jahmyr Gibbs got signed. That's like being like, here's your Knicks tickets.
Damn it, we fell for it again.
Yeah,
like they at the game, like, yeah, we fell for it again.
It's like you're getting excited for all these things. Like, yeah, these things are cool. They should be happening. But it's like none of it matters to me until you win a Super Bowl. And that's where it's like last night it kicked into my head. And I told you that this morning again, where I'm like, dude, like, yeah, this is awesome. Like, this is sweet. This is like them being like, oh, like, the Men in Black, like, forget everything else that happened, the little thing that they give you, and then it's like, just remember what's going on now. Like, no, like, I'm still going to be consistent of like, you need to go win a Super Bowl, man.
Absolutely.
And like this year, you need to get to back to the playoffs and win a playoff game. And I'm not going to let all these contracts and all this cool, like people were so excited today. The Lions in the ESPN rankings had the most players in the top 10 at each position. Dude, I could care less, dude. I drink the Kool-Aid not because we got the best players in the league. I drink the Kool-Aid after Lions wins. Mm-hmm. That's what I want. I don't care less about the players you have on the team. All I care about is winning football games and getting back to the playoffs and winning playoffs. Like, fans have to stop letting these things like yesterday. Yeah, dude, it's exciting. Stop letting those things overlook the fact that we just missed the playoffs, went 9-8, and you were last in the division. Like, go out there and prove it again this year. If you're going to get paid $22.5 million, go win me a football game, dude.
Yeah.
Let them cook.
All right, that's all I have.
Let them. By the way, let's take a break. We'll come back. We'll talk about Drew Petzing. Short King.
My
legend,
dog.
by the way. I love Drew
dog.
Petzing. That dude.
Ball head, stand up. It's my dog.
I just took my hat off and I was just bald.
So tell us about. We should have wore bald caps today.
Right.
Man, that would have been.
We're doing it. We're doing it.
Part of the Drew Petzing.
We're doing the bald caps. We're doing the bald caps.
Tell
Tell us about Art and Jake's win. We'll hear about Gold Crown.
All right, Lions season is here, guys. Last night we had the watch party. It was like the Hall of Fame game, Tigers game, all of that. The heavyweights were there. Make sure you guys go check out Art and Jake's with over 80 wall-to-wall TVs, 22 draft beers on tap, 90 menu items. Guys, they have everything you need. We are there on most Saturdays for UFC. We're watching that. We go watch football games there, Thursday nights, Monday nights, whatever it is. Go check Art and Jake's out, guys. It is a sports bar setting with a fine dining flavor.
And Baldies like to smoke too, and if you're gonna smoke, you should smoke like royalty. Y'all know the slogan by now. It's Gold Crown, and they come in with the Royal Jesters, 1.5 grams each, and they are quad infused, Keef coated, live resin infused, THCA diamonds, and terpenes, all packed into 4 layers of absolute goodness, and they come in a pack of 5, or you can get the singles. It's up to you. But Michigan made, top tier, no shortcuts. Next time you hit the dispo, don't think, just ask for the Royal Jesters. Once again, if you're gonna smoke like royalty.
You're building a whole combat sports enterprise in the heart of it in Detroit, and that's what I think is the coolest.
I think with opportunity, right? Like you said, maybe you like to punch people in the face for real, and you know, you want to be a boxer, and you have an option there. Maybe you don't like getting punched in the face, and you want to make, you know, you like the theatricals and the storylines, and so you have an avenue here. Maybe you start at one and then want to change to the other. I don't care. I just want you in the building and know that you have some place to go to explore that. Just having the ability to, what do you want to do and how do you want to do it to the best of your ability? And, you know, it all starts with the kids.
You know how some things are so good they should be world famous, but they're not? Our house-made vinaigrette is one of those things. And the antipasta salad, we drizzle it over. Same with our hand-battered chicken tenders. Original recipe soups and pasta sauces. It's almost as if our original, world-famous Detroit-style pizza is mocking them. And that's not very nice.
It is Joey with Woodward Sports, and in 2017, I trusted Dr. Yeldo with my eyes, and it was the best decision I've ever made. No more glasses or contacts, just clear vision every single day.
Hi, I'm Darren McCarty, 4-time Stanley Cup champion. If I had LASIK back in the day, I probably would have won 8 Stanley Cups. So if you're thinking about LASIK, do it now. Tell them, Doc.
Come see me. You have nothing to lose. It's a free consultation.
For a limited time, LASIK only $19.99 per eye. Call Yeldo Eye Center. Let them know Woodward Sports sent you, but please don't wait like I did. Call them now.
Detroit has the best sports fans in the world. That's why they deserve the best sports coverage in the world. We are the Woodward Sports Network.
It is time for me to go on the infamous weed run. And listen, I'm here to tell you about Mad Packs. And if you're a fan of Mad Packs, you should be. They got some great products in right now. In particular, the gummies that they are promoting. The Boom Shakalaka 200 milligram hash rosin gummies and the Hilo 200 milligram live resin gummies. And don't forget about their other great stuffs. The Mad Packs extracts, blizzard packs, pre-rolls, and flour. I even got one of them syringes that hit so good. Oh, man, they got it all. So go to getmadpacks.com today. Mad flavor, mad high, Mad Packs. And while you shopping, you might as well just throw a whole bunch of stuff in the cart. And Amnesia is one of those products that you should have in the cart as well. They are proud to be available at all of the top dispensaries across this great state with products for adults 21 and up. And their newest launch is the Switch. It's a 2-gram dual chamber disposable featuring liquid diamonds. With 2 chambers and 2 different flavor profiles, you can enjoy the left, you can enjoy the right, or flip that switch and be bipartisan high today, man. You can do it right now, but discover your new favorite with the Switch by Amnesia.
Crunch time, Woodward Sports, more to get into, more Detroit Lions. I do want to talk about Drew Petzing because I know we've shared our opinion on Drew Petzing. I put a poll in the chat for you guys to vote on. Are you sold on Drew Petzing?
Yes.
Yes, not yet, and no. You guys vote in there. You guys, we're pro Drew Petzing show. Right, Caleb?
We're pro Drew Petzing. I will say in the beginning, right when I saw the signing and what he looked like, the bald head kind of
he lost aura.
We all did, but Jeff, you were early on Drew Petzing. I will say that.
Well, here's my thing. This is, people are gonna hate this too. Ever since Ben Johnson left, I've been very skeptical of who I attach my name to.
I think this is a good one though.
Yeah, and I think John Moore and I was out as soon as he got hired. Maybe he was bald also, but it was also because of the resume. It just was like, who? What? Oh, he was in the room when they created the offense. Okay. You know, what's he done calling plays? Oh, he hasn't called. He called plays once and he was fired the last decade. Drew Petzing, and we have our friend Noah, who used to work there at Woodward Sports.
Noah.
He obviously does not like Drew Petzing because he covers. He's out there covering the Cardinals in Arizona. We love you, Noah. But
that's such a.
But that's a very biased view because Arizona was looking for someone to throw on the sword,
and he was the one that got.
And he was the one, despite a lot of stats that are pro Drew Petzing. And I'll say this: he spoke to the media. If you haven't heard it, I suggest you do. I personally love, and we got a chance to speak to him at the Combine a couple times, super down-to-earth guy. It's not the only reason we like him. It's because of what he brings to the table. But you could just tell, super genuine, super smart, obviously. Yeah. And all you hear around the league is people love the guy.
Yeah.
So if you haven't heard him speak or you don't really keep up with his media sessions, I suggest you do.
Absolutely.
Because every time I watch him, you walk away, you're like, this dude's impressive.
That's what won me over.
Yeah.
Hearing him talk.
That's it. And I know it's like, well, it's just like, no, when you hear him break down football and just his philosophy on offense, it's like, okay, this guy fits the modern game. Like, this is how this works. So here, play the clip of Drew Petzing, and we'll react to it. Him talking about the offense.
Looking for it, but it's a lot of fans who still getting to know you, still getting to know what the offense is going to look like. But what do you feel like is your trademark, your hallmark? What can fans expect to see from Drew Petzing offense this year?
It needs to be physical. It needs to be tough. It needs to be difficult to defend, and it needs to be multiple at times. It's not going to all run through one person. It's not going to run through one personnel. It's going to change week to week. I think that's important in this league. Defensive coordinators, I think, do things at a really high level. They watch tape. They understand scheme. So I think that's a big part of what we need to be on offense.
A lot has been made, obviously, of your use of 13 personnel, but obviously seems like the strength of is the receivers, the wide receiver group. How do you balance that, the position groups, and is there a sacrifice you're going to have to make one way or the other?
I think it is more of an opportunity than a sacrifice. It's an opportunity to put your best players on the field. And in other places I've been, sometimes that was 13 personnel. If it's 11 personnel, if it's 10 personnel, if it's 01 personnel, that's what it's going to be. And I think that's so important to me doing my job at a high level and doing the best job for the organization is making sure that whoever has the ability to affect the game at a high level, I'm putting them on the field and giving them that opportunity.
How have you kind of, I guess, kind of gone through the calculus of just, obviously there's so many players that are capable of, making plays in this offense, but just like balancing like who gets the most touches, and that's how have you worked through that yourself, but just so far, I guess.
It's a balance, as you said, and I think a big part of that is challenging guys and saying, hey, you want the ball, go out and earn it. We're in training camp right now. Guys are fighting for roles. They're fighting for touches. They're trying to show me, their teammates, other coaches, this organization, what they can do. And I've always said, you show me you do something at a high level, it's my job to put you in that position over and over again. And I think that's what competition's all about, and it brings out the best in us as individuals and as a unit.
Drew Petzing. I mean, I'll say that I'm surprised. I'm looking at the chat. I am surprised.
People are going at him a little
how
bit.
many people are actually still kind of out on him.
Does this not go?
And I understand you got to see it, but guys, it felt like there was a lot of pro John Morton last year.
More John Morton. It was like 80% John Morton.
And maybe it's like the being scarred from the John Morton experience, maybe.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. This, though, I mean, when I watched this, and obviously we spoke with him at the Combine a few times, ran into him a couple times, just a completely different vibe than John Morton. And then, when you see this, go look at John Morton's press conferences and watch this. And I know people are going to be like, Booner, you're always looking at press conferences and taking a lot from them. But, you could get a vibe of a person.
There's a difference.
You can get a vibe of how a person kind of approaches offenses. Today, Scotty Montgomery got asked about Drew Petzing. And the one thing that he said that he loves about Drew Petzing is he essentially said, Drew Petzing doesn't feel like he's the smartest man in the room. He's the offensive coordinator, so he controls everything, right? Scott Montgomery essentially just said, he lets us all do what we want, basically. He doesn't think that one guy is smarter than the other. And basically, I think the quote was, we're all smarter together, right? If we're all working together, we're smarter than just one guy. And with John Morton, you knew that there was headbutting going on. We got inside information that there was some sort of headbutting going on.
I heard that too.
With big people offensively. Take a hint.
Right.
And also too with the offensive line. That was a public thing where he goes out and calls the offensive line out. Offensive line does an interview and they call him out. And it's that you're not getting that from Drew Petzing. Drew Petzing's a team dude. He is a guy that wants the best for the team. And you know what the best part about it in that interview? Hey, you got 1 billion weapons. What are you going to do? Hey, first, we're gonna make guys earn it, right? Go out there and show me you can do it. But also, I'm going to figure out what you're best at, and we're going to put you in those positions to be best at what you're best at. I know that's a lot of best, but who said that before in the past? You guys remember? Ben Johnson.
Yeah.
I'm going to put Jared Goff in a position to do things that he's best at. I'm going to put Amon-Ra in the position to do things that he's best at. Jahmyr Gibbs, David Montgomery, Sam Laporta. John Morton never said that. That's a Ben Johnson thing. That was a Dan Campbell thing 2 years ago. So, you're kind of back to that philosophy, which I like. I don't know how you don't watch that video and some of those questions that he answered and you don't get a little bit fired up and you don't notice a massive difference from John Morton to Drew Petzing.
Yeah, and I'll say it. I understand being skeptical. I do. But the reason why people are like, and I see it in the chat, like, oh, so Jeff has faith in this guy. He's never seen him coach in one game for the Lions. The reason why, obviously, the talent. We know what the talent.
Big difference.
It's not. Listen, this is very simple from an offensive coordinator. Like when you look at who the Lions hire as an offensive coordinator, the guy doesn't have to be Superman because they have so much talent. Okay, last year with John Moore, we still saw them as like a top offense, but when you really look at that offense and you see them versus top-ranked scoring defenses, they were bad. So what I look at for offensive coordinators is okay, can you be good situationally? What's your strength, right? With Drew Petzing, it's running the football. What did the Lions struggle with last year? Running the football. And I know it's offensive line, of course, is part of that. But like John Morton was a pass game guru, and last year they just weren't able to make it work. From a schematic standpoint, Drew Petzing excels in that area. When you go look at teams that have led the NFL over the last couple of years in 100-yard rushing games, as teams that do, it's all these like top-ranked offenses, and then the Cardinals are always on there. They always had they were up there and with the rushing attack over the last handful of years. And who was that running back, dude? Like a bunch of different dudes.
Right.
James Conner, and he was hurt. All these different guys, like they ran the football pretty well for a team that didn't have much on the O-line, didn't have much at running back. So one thing I know about Drew Petzing is his scheme in terms of his rushing attack, it's going to be really impressive. And obviously the offensive line's way better he's working with. The running backs are way better. So I think it's all about like, what is this guy situationally? Can he put these guys in the best position to succeed? And I know Arizona Cardinals fans would say no, but I just have faith in the guy. Could I be wrong? Absolutely. And if I am, I will, hand up show. I was wrong on Drew Petzing, but I feel really good about it.
And they're going to run his scheme, and I'd have no qualms, especially when they went out and hired a guy like a Mike Kafka to kind of assist him, because that was the thing we heard coming out of Arizona is that, his run game is pretty good, but in terms of designing pass plays, it's a little left to be desired. So they went out and got a Mike Kafka to kind of reinforce that. So with that being the case, and knowing that this team wants to get back to running the football, time of possession, just nasty, gritty, in the trenches, controlling other teams, I think they can easily get back to that with a guy like a Drew Petzing, who, by all accounts, we hear around the league, he's very much respected. A lot of people do view him in that Ben Johnson-esque territory, just how he designs the 13 personnel, and just how he goes about it. So I'm really looking forward to what he can be. You may not get the fruits of it right away, but I think as this season goes along, health dependent, of course, they will be able to get back to kind of the football we were used to back in 2023 and 24.
Yeah, I think Kafka's a massive hire.
Absolutely.
I do.
I think people forget about that hire a lot.
Yeah.
And it's like just one that goes under the rug. Dude was a kind of fill-in head coach last year for the Giants. And offensive minded, like he's very, very good in the league.
And the thing about Petzing, too, is when you hear him talk, it's like, okay, yeah, he brings up the physicality, he brings up all this stuff. And when a lot of coaches do that, it's just coaches talking, saying things that people want to hear. Like I'm sure Johnny Mo said the same shit last year about we got to get back to being physical and all this stuff. But when you hear, like, I can't remember who I was watching. It was either Cade Mays or Penei Sewell. They were talking about kind of what this offense is going to look like this year under Drew Petzing, and they all said, man, he loves the run game. And I know right now, I think that I don't want to call it a misconception, but everything everybody thinks it's kind of a passing league. Everything in the NFL now with the 12th personnel, the 13th personnel, it's all built off of the run game. And that's what Drew Petzing is phenomenal at. And this is the best personnel he's had in his entire coaching career to have an elite run game. And everything is going to be built off that run game. He's never had shiny weapons like Jameson Williams or an Amon-Ra St. Brown and a Jahmyr Gibbs. So if we can go back to running the football with a better O-line and a better offensive coordinator and a better scheme, I think this is going to be a really, really electric offense because everything's going to be built off this run. And even Doc said it, like when he was on, Doc said like one of the first things he heard about from training camp was Drew Petzing is bringing these like the pre-snap motions and everything. So it's not only going to be power-o, we're going to run it down your throat. You're getting some like young-minded, an electric offense, a creative offense from Drew Petzing. You're going to get a little bit of everything from him. From what I've heard, and I know this is all coaches talk, and we haven't seen anything between the lines yet, but so far I like everything about Drew Petzing.
So NFL teams with the most rushing yards of the last 3 years. Leading it are teams you would expect, right? Like the Bills, the Ravens, the Eagles, the Lions. The Bears are on here, the Falcons, the Commanders, Packers. You know who comes in at 9? The Cardinals. Mm-hmm. They have more rushing yards over the last 3 years than the 49ers. Wow. The Cardinals, dude. Yeah. The Cardinals, one of the worst organizations in football, with Drew Petzing as OC, has the 9th most rushing yards over the last 3 years, with James Conner, among others, at running back. Obviously, Kyler Murray helps out by running the football, but like still with that O-line, with those running backs, like that's the part. And I think the exact yards per carry is almost 5 yards per carry.
Wow.
Like
he's elite at the run, and I think this offensive line is getting better.
Yeah.
And you have the best running back in the NFL.
Yeah.
Like I'm excited.
You know what it sets up for it too? People don't talk about this enough. Jared Goff, what does he like rely on a lot? That play action. And when you can run the ball the way that the Lions are going to, it's going to change this game. Because last year you couldn't run the ball. So like Goff put the numbers up he did last year without great play action.
Just dropping back.
And great running. So like think about now this year in this offense when you have a new O-line, running back, an offensive coordinator that actually wants to run the ball. Like, do you guys remember John Morton last year at camp? Jeff, me and you went like every time we could go. He just was like, it was like first down, seconds down. He was like, just like, let's get deep balls going. And it was like a clear, like, we're not going to establish the run. That's what it felt like at camp. People were excited about it because it was like J-Mo was getting more involved, deep balls, Amon-Ra.
Right.
But it was like, where's the run game? Where's the run game? And you could tell, like hindsight looking back, they weren't really focused on dominating the run from day one at camp, it felt like.
Yeah. Maybe because they knew the offensive line was going to take a step back. Maybe not as much as that it turned out to be.
What did John Morton do when he was in New York that people were mad about?
They didn't commit to running the football.
He didn't commit to run the football. He loved just having fun plays and like downfield things, and he was always trying to push the ball downfield.
Yeah.
That was like the opposite of what this team has always been built on.
Well, Icewater Olson says, I am concerned with Petzing because he did lose his running game coordinator to be the Dallas OC, and then the run game totally dropped off, and Dallas got great at running the football. Yeah, I did. That's one thing when I first was like kind of looking at Drew Petzing. That's stuff I looked at as well. But like,
you got Tashard Choice here.
Yeah, and you have Tashard. They have a good room of coaches. Kafka obviously plays into that. But like, I say all this to say, do I think Drew Petzing is going to be the best OC in football? I'm not sitting here arguing that. What I'm arguing is you're not going to worry about the offense.
Yeah.
Like it's not going to be like last year where you're like, man, they're scoring a lot of points, but they're still not really what they were. I'm not saying he's going to be better than Ben. What I'm saying is I think the offense is going to be just fine with Drew Petzing, Mike Kafka, Dan Campbell in that room. They got a bunch of coaches on it. My concern has always been the defense, because there's more obviously there that you're like, okay, we need the defense to step up. But like I'm just not worried about the offense. That's my take. Like I'm not worried about Drew Petzing. I'm not worried about what the offense does. Obviously, like last year, they were bad on third down. They were bad situationally, which is coaching. Situationally is coaching. Players are still going to make plays. Goff's still going to ball out, and Amon-Ra and J-Mo and Jahmyr, all these guys. But it's situationally. How are you situationally? And they were bad. They just were. So I think they'll be improved in that area. Let's take a break. When we come back, we'll continue more Detroit Lions. And we also have Tigers, by the way, we have to get to. We're going to get to the Tigers.
There's a video that dropped today about Tarek Skubal. Caleb will not like.
Oh, we got to get to it. But first, tell us about All Day IPA, Boone.
Let me tell you guys about All Day IPA, guys. It's their 15th year anniversary for Founders Brewing's legendary All Day IPA. If you haven't tried it, go try it. We talk about it every day. It's a great drink. It's citrusy. It's crisp, refreshing, has a perfectly balanced taste, guys, and 4.7 ABV to go the entire distance of a game. And even right now, you can get $5 shorts at any Art and Jake's locations on Mondays, Thursdays, and Sundays. And as always, if you're going to drink them, Caleb,
drink responsibly.
That's it.
A ton of fun, a ton of sports, and a ton of man meat. Welcome to the Woodward Heavyweights, live daily 5 to 7 p.m. on Woodward Sports.
I hate to tell you, energy drinks, but you're about to be crushed. Thrive nootropic energy pouches are here to change the game by delivering steady, focused performance in a clean white pouch for a fraction of the cost. And unlike other brands, Thrive comes from an American company that's been leading the way for over 30 years. So stop drinking gut rot energy drinks and why don't you thrive for a change? It's just better.
For more Detroit Tigers coverage, make sure you subscribe to Woodward Tigers on YouTube. All Tigers, all the time. For the hardcore Detroit sports fans who can't get enough of the Motor City's teams. All season long, you'll get non-stop Tigers content from on-field interviews, post-game reactions, and roundtable insight from Woodward Sports.
It's Loon Cannabis, and if you're not checking out some of the great strands that they have in terms of the flower, you can check out these buzzing energy drinks that they got in. Still the same buzzings that you used to, 7.5 milligrams of pure THC, but they found a way that you can get through your day with them by pairing that with 100 milligrams of caffeine from green tea extract. You can try it in flavors like peach and raspberry lemonade. Crack a can, catch a buzz, and keep the vibes going. And they have them at all 40 locations across the state of Michigan. All you got to do to learn more is go to loom.com or go in store. And don't forget, you get 30% off your entire order either way by using promo code WSN30 at checkout. It's Loon Cannabis.
We're back. It's Crunch Time, Woodward Sports. We appreciate you guys tuning in. Hit the like button on the stream. It helps push us out there. It's free. It takes a second. We have more training camp to get into. We're going to get into the Detroit Tigers as well. We have mailbag.
Real quick, just updates on today's training camp. You going a couple things?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
One, Easy tweeted out and said Amon-Ra St. Brown is dominating, which is no surprise.
Yeah.
He basically
So it's Friday.
It's Friday. But his tweet basically said no one really talks about it enough because it's kind of a given. But dominating. I feel like we've seen a bunch of videos of Amon-Ra coming out. Like yesterday, they tweeted one of him just cooking a defender, and then today, I guess he's just dominating. Amon-Ra, he might be the most consistent wide receiver in the NFL.
And you know he's pissed off after last year.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
That's why I think guys and I know it's a crazy take because of the Jahmyr, but I think you see a 1,500-yard season out of Amon-Ra this year.
Well, I think also, and this is just me being real, part of that is because the secondary is so. I think that's
maybe that's it, but I think
Amon-Ra is that guy, but that's where my mind goes. I'm like, man, they can't. I mean, those guys are working hard out there. I mean, they are, man. They really are.
Other update: Devin White intercepted Jared Goff.
Yay,
wow!
Yay!
Who
said he can't play in coverage?
Jeff Ifrady said he can't. Jeff, the more I think about it, every conversation we have, Jeff's just the opposite of the Lions.
No, okay, don't say that.
That is crazy.
Don't say that.
You thought he couldn't play in coverage?
People actually believe that.
I'm not saying he's.
People actually
the
believe
best coverage linebacker, but he's shown that he can play in coverage.
He's just he's dropped off a little bit.
Of course, but
if he can cover, I would be ecstatic.
I think that's why they got him.
Yeah,
another one here too. I just put out here the doc must be at practice just with some tickets today, but he tweeted out and said Ahmed Hassanin and Blake Miller's must watch today.
Oh,
that's positive news out of Ahmed Hassanin, I think more so.
Is that negative news for Blake Miller?
No, because Blake Miller's a rookie. I think he's always going to be up and down.
I'm not really worried about that.
I think Blake Miller was always I know that I saw some tweets today. Blake Miller got Aiden Hutchinson on one. I think and vice versa. Because Penei Sewell, right here, here's a tweet. Doc in all caps. Whoa. Edge rusher Tyler Lacey just put offensive lineman Penei Sewell on his back.
Tyler Lacey.
So you have those moments, obviously.
Again.
So I wouldn't take that in too much to account.
Levi,
Lawrence Taylor, baby.
It's up for Levi. Did they call him edge rusher too? Tyler Lacey.
He said he put. Hold on, where did that go?
Guy's a Swiss Army knife.
He said in all caps DE, so defensive edge.
But
no, I think they actually did say.
Edge?
I think they did say Tyler Lacey. I can't remember who it was or what it was, but I think they did mention Tyler Lacey's. I think it was Dan when he was talking about the D line. He said we like throwing Lacey on the outside and throwing him in a little bit.
Yeah,
3 tech.
It's up for
Levi, 3 tech
bro.
coming off the edge.
Time's up, buddy.
Yeah.
Pack your bag.
Here's one as well. A Doc one. Chuck Clark had a chance for a pick in all caps. Dropped. Here's another tweet. Hank Fraley's absolutely chewing out the offensive line unit.
Oh shit!
I love that. I mean,
yeah, get after him.
Touchdown JMO at one point. After getting chewed out, Lions offensive line stepped up. Blake Miller stuffed Hutch, who tried to use an inside move.
You know what I want to do, Booner? You know how me and KG have the punishment where we have to watch the game, like the Tigers game, and with our backs turned or whatever. I want to make a bet with you. I'll figure out what it is. That the only way you could figure out what's happening in a Lions game is just based off Doc tweets.
Do you want to know something crazy? I would never make a bet like that because I would never give up watching a Lions game.
But
it's funny because this guy wants us to turn our backs and not watch the games.
We made the bet. You guys could have said no.
No, and I understand that, but we're probably going to be doing these watch parties at like a Art and Jake's where it's 80 fucking television. So I will gladly turn my back.
Blindfolds. You can't watch the game.
That's not part of the deal.
Well, the bet is in the deal it was you cannot watch the game.
No, you said I had to have my back turned to the camera while y'all guys are watching the game.
You got to watch the tape.
You cannot watch the game.
You said to have our backs turned. I want to have my back turned.
We know what the bet was we cannot watch the game.
Hey, listen,
we know
you didn't
that.
put the blindfold
if you guys do that, then I'll never make a bet with you guys again. We know what the bet was.
All right, pick up your ball and go home.
I will. Well, yeah, when you're getting all political and do it, like we know what the bet was. The bet was you cannot watch the game. Come on now.
You're just mad because
I know. Jeff, you're the middle guy here.
If the bet was you can't watch the game, you can't watch. Well, we got the tape. Good thing these are recorded, so we can go back and watch it.
If you guys got around on it like that, then you know what. Respect, but then I'm not. I won't do. Cool, I'm not doing business with you guys anymore.
Backs turned. It was specifically.
I will not do business with. What's the term? I will not negotiate with terrorists.
Blitzing Lion says, "Why y'all not reporting on Ennis?"
Well, I haven't seen anything about Ennis. I mean,
you haven't? Oh, you haven't?
He had the pass.
I'm reading it here.
Tell him what the fuck it is, Caleb. Yeah.
Actually, there was a report today. Hold on, let me get Easy's up here. Easy did tweet out and say, let me find it. Hold on. Ennis with great coverage on a J-Mo deep ball. J-Mo had to shove him away to make the catch. Flag was thrown. Offensive pass interference.
Yeah. Come on now. Come on. That pass breakup they posted on Twitter yesterday. Stride for stride with J-Mo.
Yeah.
Look at Ennis. Steve O'Baby in the chat says, Caleb, I want to see you take a hit from an NFL player. The fuck is that all about? Steve Baby wants to be dead.
Okay. You in the hole versus Jack Campbell.
Right. Like, okay.
Baby wants to be dead.
All right, big dog.
It's like people want to see me get tackled, man.
Let's get to it. We got 3 stars /underrated players from the 2026 Lions camp so far.
Yes, let me tell you. So we got this from Pride of Detroit. They put out an article. It was 3 different. It said the original thing said superstars, and then when I opened up the article, it said Detroit Lions roster underrated players.
Oh, let's get some underrated.
So I don't know if it's superstars or underrated players, but these are 3 names that have been getting thrown out that have been kind of, I guess, playing well, and have been getting underrated. And going into the season, you need to keep an eye on them. So number 1, in the secondary, guys, corner Rock Ya-Sin.
Okay.
Is that?
Look at
I'm telling you. Hold on. I'm not trying. No, that wasn't intentional. It was just. I guess that was just like, what do you call it? Like a. Maybe it is intentional.
Like
unintentionally intentional. But I'll say this. Good. Like they do need Rock. Like, and I said this earlier. If you're trying to compete for a Super Bowl, you need guys that you're paying a little money to step up the way the Lions have designed this football team. So if Rock he falls into that category, he's your number 2 corner. Probably, most likely, and he is on the cheaper option. So if Rock can play really, really well this year, you're in a great spot. They need that. So I'm happy to see Rock. I'm not going to see your hate on it. I love it. Fans might be surprised if they, Jeff's hating on everything. No, I'm actually, we need you. We need you. We need it. We need Rock Island. That's what we need.
Do you believe in Rock Ya-Sin, Jeff?
Got you. Well, it depends. I mean, like, what level are we talking about? Like,
to hold down the corner 2 spot for a majority of the season.
I think he can hold it down. You know, I think there'll be days and games where people are like, and then there'll be other games where it's like he played well. But that's what it is. I'm not gonna put unfair expectations on Rock. Like, he is what he is. Like, he is a guy who started in some games last year, played well.
Yeah.
But is he a guy that's over a 17-game season and playoffs can consistently be consistent for you? I don't know that. You know, he's been on different teams the last couple of years, so I don't think it's fair to say, like, this dude, extension coming. He's your number 2 corner. But, yeah, like, to be real with you, like, KG, yeah, like I do. I think he can hold it down.
All right.
So, it's good for Rock.
Like clarification. That's all.
All right, number 2 player. Number 2 player, offensive side of the ball. You guys want to take a guess on this one? Offensive side of the ball?
Greg Dortch.
Okay, he ruined the segment. It's Greg Dortch.
I didn't know that. I just know.
Greg
I
Dortch.
didn't know. I haven't read the article, but I would assume it's Greg. He's been getting a lot of praise.
Yeah.
And that there's not a lot of underrated guys in this offense.
Tesla might be in trouble.
Yeah, Greg Dortch coming for you.
I'm telling you.
Yeah, he's been. I mean, they really do like him, and he said it himself.
good.
Like, I'm more than a gadget player. You know, I'm more than a gadget player.
I think he is too. That's why I was so shocked when they signed him.
Well, you know what's crazy?
They got Tesla.
People forget what Khalif was. Khalif was like a special teamer. He came to Lions and he became a wide receiver, like more of a consistent wide receiver. Like people think Dortch is just going to return kicks and be like a punt returner. No, like
they'll use him in offense.
When Khalif was on, I think it was the Titans, and then the Lions picked him up. He was just strictly a special teams guy, and he turned into a really good route runner and very underrated receiver on this team. So, do I think Dortch can do that same thing? Yes, I do. And he's already been in this offense with Drew Petzing.
Absolutely.
So,
I think Greg Dortch is going to have a good year. I think he's going to be like 400 yards. Is that crazy to say?
I really don't know.
3 maybe three.
It's hard for me to put numbers on guys that are like back where he is.
Third or fourth option. Like we don't.
I don't know.
Like,
Man, you know what? Sure. Like you give him a couple hundred yards.
Because like Khalif was consistently at like 300-400, maybe 500 at times.
But I think that'll go to Isaac this year. That like third wide receiver. So I don't know what.
If he can't get separation.
I was. The Neil I was told.
Right.
Guy's getting clamped. I don't know. That's
right.
If you read
I was told he can't run.
No, but yeah, I think Dortch will be. Dude, I could see him scoring some like random touchdowns, like in some
end arounds.
Yeah.
He's gonna end up. You know what's gonna happen? He's gonna just be like one of those guys. You know those plays the Lions have sometimes where there's just a guy 40 yards down the field solo and no one's like within 50 yards of him. That's going to be Greg Dortch this year.
Yep.
And it's just going to be because no one pays attention to him, and they're going to lose him out in the secondary. He's like, hold on a second. Last player here before we end this one. Do you guys want to do the guess again, or did you already see the article?
I didn't see the article with Greg Dortch.
Defensive side of the ball. Take a guess. Underrated player. Superstar.
Hassanin? Wait, superstar.
That's what it was.
Lacey. I'll go Lacey.
Lacey?
You said... Wait, superstar player?
Well, the article, the original thing said, the start of the article says 3 underrated superstars for the 2026 season, and when you click on it, it says just underrated players.
Oh, that's funny.
It's crazy clickbait.
Aleem.
Hassanin.
I'll go Lacey. Tyler Lacey.
0 for 3.
Well, who is it? Nick Whiteside?
It is a rookie. Keith Abney.
Wow.
Oh! Keith Abney, underrated player at training camp.
Stand up!
Keith Abney's having himself a training camp, guys.
Seatbelt. Oh, wait.
He told y'all, man.
Come on, Keith Abney, man.
Lock it down.
I've been telling you, that's Abney Island, man. No, I'm just kidding. No, I'm happy, man. I'm ecstatic. I love Keith Abney. You guys know how I feel about him. I do. I think he's, whether he's nickel or outside, I think he has, there's a role for him at some point. I don't know. I'd expect it to be nickel. But apparently, Izzy's been holding that one down. But we'll see, man. Like, I think there's a lot of traits that Abney possesses that are pretty impressive. So I'm excited by it. I know it's like, well, he's a 5th-round draft pick. But guys, like, he was a 5th-round draft pick because he's smaller, he's lighter. But like talent-wise, that dude is way better than his draft spot.
And that further lends to my point of yesterday. It might be up for Roger McCreary.
You ain't lying.
I ain't heard.
I haven't heard anything. No.
Not a play, not a
no.
Not a water
like
break.
KG won?
Yeah, like come on, everybody, even Ennis got a fucking play.
Can we get
even
just
Rakestraw
one?
got a play, dog.
Like one Roger McCreary pass breakup. Can we get one?
I think I saw something today. It might have been the doc put something
It was.
out.
I have it right here.
That
The
it
doc,
was
Lions free agent DB in real danger of not making.
KG. I saw that today. I was like, wow.
You and Levi packed
And
your
by the way,
bags.
when we had the Roger McCreary segment,
You was the
Mr.
first
Negative.
one on it.
I was like,
You was
I
the
don't
first
know,
one on it.
guys. Like, I'm not rooting. I'm not gonna be one of. I'm not rooting
we're not
against
rooting
the
for
man.
it. We're not rooting for it.
Yeah,
You also said don't pay Jahmyr Gibbs. No, I'm just kidding. I have to, dude. Today's the day. It's the day, dude.
It is
Everyone's
the day.
doing
I'll let
it.
you get your licks in.
Let me
That's
get a couple shots
Yeah.
in. Everyone in the world is. Can the guy sitting next to you get a couple
It'd
shots
be your
in?
own teammates.
I mean, come on, man.
No, but yeah, I'm not surprised by that.
Vitriol Carnage in the chat. Jeff's hairline crooked off.
Y'all chill.
I
bro,
mean,
chill.
hey, one thing you can say a lot about me. Can't say nothing about the hairline. That's one thing you can't
You
say.
could do worse than Jeff's hairline.
Yeah,
I
you
will
can.
say that.
You can. There's a lot of laps. My nose. You can go on my nose. You can say anything you want. Not the hairline, though. Sorry.
I'm not, that one wasn't me. By the way, that one wasn't me. That was the chat. I'm reading what's
words off a
of
screen.
You can say that Italian's got a big ass nose. I mean, you can say a lot of things, but yeah, not the hairline, man.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Prick.
Anyone
Try
else?
again.
Try again. Shout out Carnage though. I do appreciate him. Is that it?
Yeah, it was just
All right,
three of them.
let's get to some Tigers talk. We'll take a break. We'll get to some Tigers talk.
Scooble spoke on the Tigers, by the way, guys.
did.
Whole 2-minute video of Scooble
Yippee.
speaking about the Detroit freaking Tigers.
Let's do it. We got to hear from our friends over at Supreme Lending. So let me tell you about those fellas at Supreme Lending, the professionals, Chad and Chris, over at Supreme Lending. If you're buying a home or refinancing, it's a massive decision. Very simple. Mention Woodward Sports when you apply for an eligible loan. You'll receive up to $500 off your appraisal. To score the deal, call the numbers on your screen. Talk to Chad and Chris at Supreme Lending today.
The most talked about Detroit media by other Detroit media, and we love it. It's the Woodward Sports Network.
Planet Fitness now has even more best-in-class strength equipment. Join today for $1 down and save.
We're stepping it up.
We're not slowing down.
Finding new faith, new focus.
Love that new equipment smell.
So, you in?
Join the club today. Save when you join for just $1 down, $15 a month. Planet Fitness. We're all strong on this planet.
It's game on at Art and Jake's. Wings, burgers, pizza, and ice-cold drinks served up with attention to detail. Wall-to-wall TVs, great service, and a vibe that keeps your crew coming back. Art and Jake's, a sports bar setting with a fine dining flavor.
Neil Rule and Sean Belizian wake you up every Monday through Friday on Detroit's #1 sports network, Woodward Sports. That's right, Big D Energy has moved to mornings. Get your morning dose of Neil's tone and Sean's insanity. Weekdays 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. Two Detroit sports legends coming together for the best Detroit sports morning show there is. Big D Energy, waking you up weekdays on Detroit's #1 sports network.
Let me tell you about our friends over at Yaldo Eye Center. And you see D-Mac over there? Looking good. And they take care of their clients. In fact, Darren McCarty trusted Dr. Yaldo to get his vision right, and he's been raving about the results ever since. All you got to do is contact them. Call or text 248-553-9800 to schedule your free consultation or visit YaldoEyeCenter.com. They're offering an incredible deal for LASIK eye surgery. Just $1,999 per eye, regardless of your prescription, because it only takes about 8 minutes, and it's pain-free. So you'll get back to seeing clear as soon as possible. Trust the experts, the vision experts at Yaldo Eye Center. We're back. It's crunch time here on Woodward Sports. More to get to. We talked some Detroit Lions for a lot of the show. Now we got to get to the Detroit Tigers and Tarek Skubal, because Tarek Skubal joined part of my take.
By the way, 2 Tigers won last night again, like $1 billion to 0, and they're only 1 game back of the wild card.
Shout out Sean. He did that. He flew out there and got the
Sean did not do that. Sean gets 0 credit. I don't ever want to hear Sean gets any credit for this Tigers team.
Also, I don't know if you guys saw the White Sox-Red Sox game last night. That was a huge win by the Red Sox for us. The Tigers are now only 3.5 back in the AL Central.
Caleb, I want to know where you are.
I don't know where I'm at.
No, you don't get I don't know.
At.
You have to pick a side. I want to know where you're at.
This is what I said. I said after the trade deadline, I hope this team wins as many games as possible, because if they were going to start winning a ton before the trade deadline, who knows what would have happened with Tarek Skubal and Casey Mize. Actually, we do know they probably still would have been Detroit Tigers if they won that game on Wednesday against Baltimore. I am so conflicted because, look, this hand-up show. What have I been saying for basically the whole year? This team is not good enough to make the playoffs, and now they find themselves 1 game out of the wild card, 3.5 games out of the AL Central. I mean, they have a legitimate shot here to make the playoffs and make a little run. Do I think their bullpen's good enough to make a serious push in October? It's not. Is this offense? Yeah, I think so. Is this starting pitching? Probably. So, KG, I don't know about you. You're probably in the same boat as me, like kind of conflicted because they're playing ridiculously good baseball, especially offensively. But I mean, that was a hell of a win last night.
Boner, I just don't want you to yell at me. I'm making short and sweet. I'm making short and sweet. We ain't got to argue about it. It's a good win. This offense has been on absolute fire, but I'm still right where I'm at. once again, until they reach up and grab the wild card and get out of this hole officially, I'm not going to crown them in any way, shape, or form.
Can we then – okay, so that's fair because I was talking to Neil in the back, and Neil is actually he listens to me a little bit. You two don't listen to me as much, and you guys just yell at me. I yell back. I yell back, but we get into the yelling match. People are like, Booner, you yell. Hey, what about Caleb and KG? They yell back to me. All I've asked was, and this is where you two come into play, where it's like, listen, I don't need an I told you so, or you were right, Booner. And I don't need to say I told you so. But back when June 1 started, I would say, hey, let's give it a couple of weeks and see. And I told Neil this. I gave it 2 weeks. 2 weeks came around. You guys said, let's wait another, basically 2 weeks. 2 weeks more came around. We're at 4 weeks. And then you guys said, hey, give it a couple more weeks. 6 weeks came around. I was told, hey, give it a couple more weeks. 8 weeks came around. Give it a couple more weeks. Now we're at 9 or 10 weeks. All I asked Neil in the back, and now I guess I asked you guys, is when do we finally get to a point where it was like, okay, Booner, maybe you were up to something here? And can we set a date? Maybe if they do once they finally get set in that wild card spot, and if they do gain that, and let's say next week they're in the wild card, is that the point where you guys would be like, okay, Booner, there you go, you got it.
Or playoffs start and they're in
it. Where is it? Because I can't keep, because to be fair, and this is why I said the goalpost was moving. It wasn't anything bad. It was because every time we get to that week that you guys tell me to get to, you guys push it back more weeks. So I'm just I'm in a little bit of a tizzy here. My head's spinning. I know you say that you literally say that exact same thing every time. But what you do, you say that, but then what you do is you go, let's give it a couple more weeks. Let's go give it a couple more weeks, and then you'll end it with, I'll end it, and I'll go, I gave it the weeks you told me to give it, and then you'll say, well, you got it, and I have to say, yeah, I did got it.
At this point, I think you may be exaggerating because I don't remember measuring it in weeks. I've just said, let's just see if they can do it.
We talked about it every few weeks, and every single time we've talked about it, we didn't obviously put an exact date on it, but every time we've talked about it, you go, let's see it a little bit down the line. Let's keep. I mean, it keeps getting pushed back, and it keeps getting pushed back. It's like, where is the line? Can we set a date? Can we go September 1? Can we just set a line to where it's like, hey, if they're still good by this time or they're in the wild card at this time, then you got it, Booner. And I'd be like, thank you. And you'd be like, you were right. That's all I want.
And I know you're looking for that, and I might end up giving it to you. You could be right. My point is kind of the same thing you had with the Lions conversation. I call it the Tiger roller coaster for a reason. I am sick of this team being either way out of the race and trying to climb back or being ahead of the game and dropping off in this part of the season. That is why I call it the Tiger roller coaster. Them making the playoffs is inconsequential to me because if they make it, cool, but it's about winning a World Series. We were kind of sold over the last couple of years that this team was getting closer to that, and I have not seen that. And we have examples of them just not being able to meet that expectation. So that's just how I feel. That's why I'm just so blatant about my feelings.
And I think you have every right to feel that way.
Yes.
I think Tigers fans all feel that way. But I think for this specific back and forth that I've been on the sideline watching, I think this one's more in a vacuum about just making the postseason.
Okay.
And I think that's where, maybe we wait. And if playoffs start and they're out there, we got to have a conversation.
Yeah, we do.
On the show.
Just
not World Series, not because I agree the Tigers roller coaster is fucking real. But just that conversation specifically, he did believe they would claw their way back and get in.
And that's
if
fair.
they get in,
and I will hand up show, right?
We got to hand up.
Hand up show.
But no.
I can't wait.
Only when they make the playoffs.
Deal.
And I'm still in belief that they cannot make it.
That's fair. That's literally, that is all. That's why the goalpost thing, it wasn't a negative at you or Sean or anything. It was hey, we have had this conversation a million times, and I keep getting told, let's wait. I've never gotten a date. It's always just gotten pushed back. And when they finally get back to 500 almost, it's like, oh, we're still waiting. It's like, where's the line? If we can set the line at the playoffs, but when the playoffs come, I don't want to hear well, they still aren't World Series contenders, or they're still not this. No, they made it.
I'm saying that ahead of time, but
they made it on that day. I don't want to hear any excuses, nothing. They were 16 games under 500. They clawed their way back. I said it from then. And you know what? Also, I don't want to hear. I don't want to hear Caleb be like, because I hate this. You're just saying this so when they do claw their way out, you can take a victory lap. That's not because I've worked with Jeff for 4 years. There's sides where I'm on the other side and on this side. I truly believed that. That wasn't just so I could take a victory lap. That would have been dumb of me because they were 16 games down.
True. Now, that being said, again, hand up show. Remember, I kind of admitted 2 minutes ago that I do think this team has the ability to make the playoffs, and probably 2 or 3 weeks ago I said not. But KG, he fell victim to the Tigers roller coaster because he had to make the playoffs bet, and he cashed out.
He
fell victim
to
the Tigers roller coaster.
Stop. No, because this is context that you're going out of context here. And this is what I talked about it in the back. You know this too. There's context to it. Last week, and this is where it's like, dude, you have to pay attention a little bit. I hand up after the trade deadline, and I hand up and said I did cash out. But on the show, I also said the reason I cashed out, it had nothing to do with them losing or anything. It was because the report came out that they were selling everyone, that they were completely out.
But we knew that.
But they did not sell everyone.
We knew that was a possibility of happening.
But when they said the report came out, they were selling Glaber, Kenley Jansen, and then potential even more.
So you thought it was over?
When I did, because I thought they were getting rid of everyone. They kept Glaber Torres. They kept Kenley Jansen. They only got rid of Mize and Skubal. If they would have sold, if I knew they were just getting rid of Mize and Skubal, I probably would have just kept it and rolled it and said screw it. They could still with Glaber. Because what did I say to you guys? I said Glaber is a big part of this team. I've said that a million times.
Yeah.
I only cashed out because the report was they were getting rid of everyone.
But the point is, you did.
I did, but I also too, and I told Caleb this is where he doesn't put context in it. I said I felt more comfortable doing it because I had the bet and I had something in the game with the bet with you guys. So I said at least I know I still have something on the line with them in the playoffs, and I cashed out because of that.
Yeah, but if you were, and again, I understand.
The cash out is
you could do that, but
I get your reason. I get your reason.
This is why, man. This is why these are these guys Russian spies, man. Because we had this
but
conversation.
you hold us to a standard. We
hold you. But we had.
Why can't you be held to a standard?
Hold on, let me talk real quick, because me and Caleb had this conversation a couple days ago, and I told him that was why I did it, and he didn't say anything negative. And now all of a sudden we're on air, and he wants to be like, hand up, hand up, and he forgets about the part last week I did a hand up, I cashed out.
Before we go to break, how is this? So the bet that you guys have currently,
that sets a bad precedent,
that has not changed. So playoffs still on the line.
Yeah.
Because by the way, if they melt it down, guess what we'd be doing? On his ass.
Yeah, you know what? I hate that for him because he's trying to make an excuse to make me look bad.
But your personal feelings told you that it might be over.
Hold on.
You cashed
2 things
out
can be
the bet.
true. I'm with you on that.
Because of the report.
Hold on. 2 things can be true. I'm with you with that. That bet still stands. Booner gets credit. But
because of the report, there's context to it because of the report.
No, it's context or argument too.
No, there's no. Okay.
Okay.
All right, let's move on.
Bet.
Let's watch the Skubal video. I'm not doing this. That's
all right.
Why do we always?
We end up arguing. Let's throw out the school video. Let's play it. Let's see what he had to say.
No one can just be like, yeah, okay.
All right,
cool.
we're done. Just play the video. We're not getting.
Start saying bye to teammates once the media gets out of there. You say bye to teammates, and a lot of those guys are my best friends. And it's like a bunch of men, and I'm crying. And I hate crying. I don't cry a lot. When my wife walked down the aisle, I didn't cry because I was so nervous, and I'm crying in a clubhouse with a bunch of other grown men saying bye to people and getting everybody a hug. So it's tough. But it was a lot, but I'm definitely excited to be here.
And I'd imagine, you said it on social media and in some of your press conferences, but like the city of Detroit, they loved you and they still love you. This is kind of the unfortunate part of where baseball is. Like, it's no fault of your own. You've pitched out of your mind for a long time now, and you're, an asset that people want, and you're going to get paid a lot of money, but it sucks that Detroit just doesn't get to keep you for your whole career. That's just kind of a bummer, and I think fans are probably they can be happy for you, but also be like, yeah, that kind of sucks. That's our guy.
Yeah, no doubt. And it sucks for me too. This wasn't the way the season was supposed to go. Going into the off season, the people that we acquired, through free agency and who we signed, I'm like, this is the World Series team. This is the team that I'm going to go and win a World Series and beat anybody. It doesn't matter what's going on. So, it's tough for my end too. I would love to play my whole career in Detroit. I would love to, and hopefully those negotiations can pick back up in November. Once the playoffs are done, and we'll see where that goes. Hopefully they're involved with everything. I would love to return. I got nothing but good things to say about the city of Detroit and the manager, the coaching, the staff, the trainers, the teammates. Yeah, it's tough, and I'm going to try not to cry right now, but I love all those guys. So hopefully they're involved in November, and we'll see what happens then.
Oh, has it moved to 6%?
No, it's
or are
still,
we still at 0?
For him to be a Detroit Tiger next year, it's still 0 for me.
Not one.
Not one.
That's ridiculous.
Not 2.
Is it
Neil said -4, so mine's a little higher than -4.
Bro, you had 6
Neil.
years to sign him and you didn't. So excuse me if I believe there's a 0%
it's open on schools and he wants to come back.
Yeah, I mean, it's what.
Now, will the Tigers do
if the
it?
guy says he hopes that they reach out, like they're gonna offer something.
They might not be competitive.
No.
Yeah, they are. Like, what are we talking about? Like,
You
they're
would have done it.
And then the
already.
fact, like, I think the biggest thing, like, was people being like, "Well, does Scuba even want to come back after what just happened?" Like, that was the big question. And then he just answers that question: "Is that I hope that they reach out to me in November." Like, he wants to come back.
This is not a Jack Flaherty situation, bro.
If he wants to come back and they're going to offer him, then it's a little bit of a Jack Flaherty situation.
I don't think so. But once again, that's just my thinking.
So we're still at the difference of 0 and 5%.
See, that's crazy. That's crazy.
I love
that.
That might be one of my favorite bits on the show.
Right.
We're arguing between 0 and 5%.
Much like the Tigers arguing about $25,000.
yeah, they do. They do be doing that.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a whole nother thing. Let's hit these ad reads, shall we? We got 3. We got to hear about our friends from Thrive.
Let me tell you guys about Thrive. It's time to upgrade your game with the Thrive Energy pouches. Packing 300 milligrams, guys, of clean and smart caffeine, including alpha GPC and L-theanine. No jitters, no sugar crash, no bloating. You can go to dipstop.com and use promo code WSN for 15% off your entire order. It's Thrive. They just effing work.
And then let me tell you about our friends over at Water Hazard from Founders. If you're golfing, which I will be tomorrow morning, and I'm going to have myself a couple of these Water Hazards, having a good time. They're absolutely delicious, but you can also get them at Art & Jake's, any location in Michigan at Art & Jake's. $5 cans, Mondays, Thursdays, and Sundays. So head over there. Next, Thursday, the Lions play?
Yeah.
I'll be indulging in some Water Hazard.
Hey.
It's absolutely delicious. Vodka-based cocktail from Founders. So get yourself one and drink responsibly, as always.
And if you have a couple water hazards, you want to relax afterwards, go get yourself a massage chair at Massage Chair House. Massage Chair House in Bloomfield Hills, the largest massage chair room in the Midwest. They carry top brands like Infinity and Osaki, making it the go-to destination for premium comfort and cutting-edge wellness technology. Be sure to visit Dr. Eric Duncan, the Wellness Doc, creator of the #1 YouTube channel for massage chair reviews at the Wellness Doc. Scan the QR code on your screen or book your visit at massagechairhouse.com. Massage Chair House, your ticket to ultimate recovery and relaxation.
Those things look comfy.
Yeah,
too.
they do.
Yeah, they are.
We got to get one of those in the studio.
We do.
We
had one.
Yeah.
I missed the Osaki platter.
Yeah, you ain't lying. We appreciate all of you guys. I know we went a little OT here.
I love all of you.
You know what?
Including
We hand up show. It's all love show. We didn't get to mailbag today, but we'll hit it back Monday. We appreciate you guys so much. Hit the like button on the way out and tune in Monday, because we'll be back 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Until then, Braylon Anson, 2 to 4, heavyweights 5 to 7.
Love you all besides the Russian spies.
Peace.
You still love us.
The next generation of Detroit sports media is here. Crunch Time is back on Woodward Sports. Join Jeff Iafrate and Booner Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Taking Detroit sports coverage to the next level with massive interviews, viral moments, and the best live reactions. Get ready, Detroit. The young guns are taking over. Crunch Time on Woodward Sports.